can't touch this.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Now Fernando has Hemby to his right. Man comes in motion. Mendoza takes the snap, hands to Hemby, right up the gut. He pounds his way into the end zone. A terrific power run, and Indiana will take the lead right back. Fernando takes the snap, gives to Hemby. Hemby drives his way. Touchdown, Indiana! Roman Hemby gets it in the end zone from 2 yards out, and Indiana's got the lead. Fernando takes the snap. They pressure him, the throw to the end zone. Touchdown! EJ! Wow, what a play, and it was actually Surratt who made the catch. Here's the snap back to Moore. He throws it. It's an interception. Intercepted by Indiana. The Hoosiers come up with it, and Isaiah Jones comes up with a pick, and Indiana gets the football back again.
Back to the line of scrimmage, and Jonathan Taylor took a handoff right side from Daniel Jones and scampers into the end zone from 23 yards out. Shotgun snap, and Jones throws upfield, caught Michael Pittman, touchdown! Yes, sir! Third down and 17 now for the Colts, moving back to the 27-yard line. Empty set for Jones, has good protection, and he's going to take a deep shot downfield for Alec Pierce. He's got it! An over-the-shoulder catch is made inside the 30-yard line of the Chargers. Shotgun snap for the quarterback. Good protection. Fires in the end zone. Tyler Warren. Touchdown! I-N-D-Y with a spike into the end zone, and the Colts are perfect today. 3 touchdowns on 3 drives. Herbert looks that way initially, scanning. Over to his right, throws in the end zone. Picked off! Nick Cross took it away from the receiver. Amir Abdullah from the 5 on the kickoff. 25. He's at the 30. He's got the 40. He's at the 50-yard line. Down the far sideline. He's got a chance. 30, 20, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Taylor in motion. Jet sweep to him. Taylor turns the corner. He's at the 5. Looking for the pylon. Is he in? No signal yet. He is. A touchdown. High snap for Jones, but he pulls it down, gets it to Taylor. Marching to his right. He's at the 5. Touchdown. The trifecta again for Jonathan Taylor. 3 rushing touchdowns for the greatest running back going right now.
Not that you care, but those of us on the outside, I think, are a little surprised at just how well this team is playing to start the season. What do we need to know about this group that maybe we didn't know going into the year?
I don't know. It sounds like y'all didn't know much, but we're just going to keep going, keep working, and we have a lot of confidence. I think we got a lot of good players, guys who work hard and do the right things.
It just shows that, hey, when you come to play us, it's going to be a 4-quarter match, similar to how it was today. We're going to fight, scratch, and claw until that clock strikes 0.
I love this league. I love it to death. I love this organization. I love these players. I love our owners. Man, and it takes all of us. It's so special. It's so special, right? And don't ever lose this feeling, man. Don't ever lose it, right? Keep fighting every day to be the best.
Fresh new kicks and bands. You got it like that. Now you know you want to.
Good morning. Things are going well here in the state of Indiana. Football is all over the place, and everybody is, bowing down, I suppose, to Indiana. They are ranked number 2, second in all of college football. Good morning, Kevin Bowen. James Boyd will join us from LAX at some point this morning. He's still out in Los Angeles, where the Colts got a big win over the Chargers and a bunch of bananas running around the field yesterday. But KB, a number 2 ranking for Indiana, and we're going to spend a lot of time on the Colts in 6-1, and we should. First time non-Manning era since they've been to Indianapolis. They've been 6-1. But I just, my mind is getting blown by the Indiana Hoosiers week in and week out right now.
Mark Dykton, welcome back. Lovely opening montage there. Hope you had a great trip. Colts-Bears Super Bowl?
I wouldn't go that far just yet.
No,
but the Colts are looking mighty good right now.
Well, your Bears playing some decent football.
Not too bad.
As well. It's amazing. The football world revolves around the state of Indiana, and this is the year of 2025. It's incredible. Last Monday we felt the need to start with IU. I feel the need to start with the Colts because I don't want to make too much over a mid-October win, but that game to me meant more to the Colts. I think they alluded to that publicly, privately. I know it meant more to the Colts, and when moments have been risen, if you will, in recent years, I don't think the Colts have met the moment. And again, it's mid-October, but for you to go out there and win a game that you held in higher regard, I think a lot of people held it in higher regard. and not only win the game, but win the game in the fashion that you did. It matters. It is yet another win by 14 or more points. It's now the fourth time they've done that in 7 games, and the offense is just a wagon. It's an absolute wagon, and Shane Steichen is the maestro of it all.
Well, they are rolling offensively, as you said, on all cylinders, and it almost feels like they're almost using pass to set up run. They've been running teams to death in the second half. In the first half, Shane Steichen just dialing up whatever he wants to dial up with the passing game, and it seems to be working right now.
Actually, yesterday they ran it more early on. I thought at the end of the first quarter you had Taylor and Amir Abdullah even had a couple carries. They both, I think, combined for like 80 yards in the first quarter, 60, 70-something yards in the first quarter, which was kind of the reverse of what they have done. But that's the thing, is their offensive balance right now is clinical. It's surgical. It's, really whatever they want to do, they're doing it. Amazing amount of balance. They stay away from the negatives. And were you ever truly worried? No, because the Chargers weren't going to stop you. And yeah, the Chargers obviously were able to move up and down the field. A couple huge plays by Nick Cross and Grover Stewart there, but there was no way that the Chargers were actually going to stop the Colts for whatever, amount of times they needed to truly get back in that game.
Oh, I am here for any 330-pound guy that not only bats a pass up into the air, but then locates and finds his batted pass up into the air. That was my favorite play of the game yesterday. I love that.
That was the bench clearing celebration. Not a bench clearing brawl. That was the bench clearing celebration for Grover Stewart. And those plays by Grover and Nick Cross were huge. I think you heard Mark, I think was that Charles Arbuckle maybe in the background saying wow at the Nick Cross interception. You go back and watch that replay. That's a hell of a play by Cross on the one-hander there to haul it in the end zone. So, yeah, defensively, you certainly have some questions, and especially with that pass rush, but offensively right now, who's stopping them? Nobody.
All I can tell people who say, well, they played a beat-up Chargers team, and they didn't really completely dominate the passer with a bunch of backups in there and all those kinds of things. They beat a really good team that's coached by a really good coach. And those guys that are backing up are still professional football players. Now, are they starters? And do you want to get more out of your defensive line? Of course you do. But they had some pretty decent numbers yesterday. They didn't dominate that defensive front, but they didn't have to at this point in time. And they're still banged up and missing some people in the secondary. And it all works together. All I know is every week people are like, well, this team was missing that. This team's not so. All I know is they just keep hammering people. To your point, the fourth time that's a 2-touchdown win in the National Football League. I don't care what the circumstances are. They're playing who's lined up in front of them. They're taking care of business. And it feels like, and it looks like, Kevin, they're getting better as the season goes along, which is what you want.
Well, yeah, a couple areas like red zone. Struggled early in the season. Right now, the only time they don't score in the red zone is because they stop themselves from scoring, i.e. the first half yesterday. Yeah. That's where the red zone streak was snapped, and it's unfortunate, but they settle for a field goal by their own doing. And then penalties. Early on in the season, there were a couple big penalty games, and now they have gotten that number to be a little bit lower. So I definitely think they have some questions defensively that still need to be answered, and I wrote on 107.5 The Fan, I think they should be entertaining a trade for a pass rusher. I thought that was the one true disappointing element yesterday was the lack of just controlling that aspect to the game because the Chargers were decimated offensive tackle. But offensively right now, it's clinical, it's surgical, it's whatever they want to do. It's Jones, it's Taylor, it's Warren. Here's the Pierce home run. Did we forget Josh Downs didn't play yesterday? He's usually a very key ingredient to the offense. Did the offense skip a beat without him? No. It's flawless what they're doing offensively. And if they wanted to, that number could have been 45 or 52 yesterday. It just, we're good to 38, and that's all that's probably needed today. 38 points in an NFL game against the Chargers defense that, scoring-wise hadn't been too bad. And really, the Chargers didn't have many injuries defensively. They got Khalil Mack. They got Denzel Perryman back. So that, to me, is the one unit right now that I get there are some tougher defensive challenges waiting, but right now, it's just absurd what they're doing.
Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt were just in awe of what they're watching from Shane Steichen's offense. This is kind of insane what they're doing right now, how they're just basically doing whatever they wanted, and just the Chargers not able to stop a single thing they were doing.
Yeah.
This is remarkable.
And to me, again, it comes back to just unbelievable balance offensively. If we want to run it, we'll run it. If we want to throw it, we'll throw it. And Daniel Jones just, it probably sounds elementary, but he finds simple. He finds answers. You hear people all the time, hey, there's an answer to every play. Well, Daniel Jones seemingly finds it every single play. And again, it's not the flashiest answer at times. It's not 3rd and 17, the home run ball to Pierce every single play, but 3rd and 10 on the goal line, we'll check it down to Amir Abdullah for 8 yards. Oh, that'll set up 4th and 2. Okay, Shane Steichen, go into your bag on 4th and 2. All right, here's a little, RPO action where we're going to fake like Pittman's blocking. It's a play that we run so many times, and boom, Michael Pittman Jr. is wide open. The Colts and Steichen, their design get dudes wide ass open, high school open, and that just does not happen in the NFL.
Not to turn the page already, but did you see the spread for what that is for the Titans game already? Like, is this the first time the Colts have been over 2 touchdown favorites against an opponent?
Opened at 14, didn't it?
14.5 right now.
I think that would be the second biggest spread in the entire NFL this season.
That's for this Colts team, 2 touchdown favorites against anybody. Who would have thought that heading into the season?
Well, here they are. Big win on the road. Beat the Chargers. Are we in or out on those Chargers uniforms yesterday? They kind of grew on me as the day wore on, but I don't need to see them more than once a year.
I prefer to the powder blue.
Yeah, I do too. I think everybody does that.
I mean, I don't mind them every once in a while, but yeah, when I saw Joel Erickson's tweet that these are hideous, I'm like,
I mean, they were
what are they wearing?
Really mustardy.
Yes.
Really mustardy.
Yeah, they pulled out the Savannah Bananas locker.
Like not Heinz mustard, like beer mustard sauce.
Yeah, my daughter thought the Minions were running around on the field.
Yeah, a lot of Savannah Bananas references yesterday to what they look like.
That's what they did look like, yeah.
Yeah, but
didn't mind them. But yeah, powder blues should have been the go-to.
All I know is classic white and blue is 6-1 and sitting again and still atop the AFC with an emphatic win. And we've got to talk about the number 2 team in the nation, the Indiana Hoosiers. We're going to do it all this morning as we continue the Fan Morning Show. And just a double victory. Maybe it's a triple, quadruple victory Monday. It just feels like everything's coming up roses right now. Notre Dame, Kevin. We'll talk about it all next to 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Don't look now, but the Indianapolis Colts are 6-1 and cruising in the AFC. Kevin Bowen, 38-24 over the Los Angeles Chargers yesterday in a game that never really even felt close at any point in time after the first quarter, did it? Even then?
Yeah, I mean, if the Chargers would have punched one more in, potentially a one-score game, who knows? But were they really going to stop the Colts another time? It felt like if the Colts wanted to, they would have just gone down the field and scored there. So damn impressive offensively right now. Again, it is an absolute wagon for the Colts.
Well, they were led by 288 yards passing Daniel Jones, but really the story again, Jonathan Taylor. Mark Dykton, not one, not two, but 3 touchdowns as the Colts just keep rolling on. Were you watching Colts or Bears yesterday? Bears or Colts?
Well,
Colts
they were
or
on
Bears?
at different times,
That's
so
right.
I watched them both. But yes,
that's right. Bears were early in the morning.
Yes,
well,
so they were, Jonathan Taylor he's in the MVP conversation. I know running backs don't usually get a lot of love, but I mean, what is this, the third time he's had 3 touchdowns this year? So he's squarely in it. Shane Steichen should be a coach of the year, front runner if he isn't already. Daniel Jones, he's looked really, I mean, there is so much positivity streaming from this Colts team right now that I don't think any of us could have, even the most optimistic Colts fan, I don't think could have possibly had this kind of numbers and stuff that they're doing on their predictions.
Big days, too. Receiving yesterday, aside from the 3 touchdowns and 94 yards for Jonathan Taylor, you had Michael Pittman Jr. score a touchdown with 58 yards receiving, but Tyler Warren continues. Kevin, yesterday, 69 yards and a touchdown, but he's becoming one of those tight ends. Every time you look up, he's not just open. He's like 3 or 4 yards open. He's got those instincts, athletic ability, and you pair that with Shane Steichen's ability to free guys up. He is a weapon right now. Opens up everything.
Yeah, I don't know if we truly, and I think we've acknowledged Tyler Warren a ton, but I don't know if we truly realize what he has meant to this offense. Just the fact that you throw him out there and you don't tip your hand at all. You have no idea if the Colts are going to run it or pass because he's on the field. And think about last year. You knew full well when the Colts threw tight ends out there what they were going to do. And even if you did see tight end, oh boy, I'm not really sure. It's not like you had fear in what they were going to do. So yes, Tyler Warren, not only unbelievable rookie season, but one of the best tight ends already in the NFL.
And it'll be another home game for the Colts coming up on Sunday. They will take on the Tennessee Titans. Mark, what did you say that line is already?
14.5.
That says a lot just in and of itself. Now, Titans are a pretty bad football team at this point in time. We get that. But 2 touchdowns. I think Vegas is looking at that offense for the Colts and saying, Titans aren't going to stop them. We see weird things in the NFL.
I think it's the biggest Colts spread in their favor, I believe, in 4 years.
All right. Check out what's going on throughout the rest of the National Football League. Did you watch any of the game last night? It was a pretty good one.
I watched a little bit of it. Didn't get too locked in. 49ers pulled it out late, right?
Yeah, they did. 20-10. They ended up winning by 10 points. But Christian McCaffrey is just we've said it over and over and over. He's like a one-man wrecking crew. Catches passes, runs the football. Every time I turn around, he's pushed. He, on that last touchdown, pushed the pile forward. He's not a big guy, Kevin. He's pushing the pile forward. Got to love that.
Colts will see both those teams later this season.
That's why I bring them up. But, 20-10 in the late game last night. We saw the Chiefs. Are they back? Are they the team now to start thinking about in the AFC? If you're the Indianapolis Colts, you look at the whole conference right now. They won 31-0 over the Raiders yesterday, but they look like the Chiefs again.
Another team. Colts will see in, about a month, coming out of the bye week at Arrowhead. So, yes, I would say Rashid Rice back in the lineup. Bet against Kansas City at your own peril.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the Titans, they were on the wrong side of the score. It's the nice way to say it. They lost at home to the New England Patriots. 31-13 was the final score in that one. Monday Night Football later on tonight. Houston Texans, also in the AFC South, taking on the Seattle Seahawks. We'll keep an eye on that one.
Bucks Lions, too. It's another Monday night doubleheader.
Yeah, that is true. It is Bucks Lions. That
Bucks
one starts
Lions
at
a great
7.
game.
And then 10 o'clock is Texans Seahawks. I was focusing more on the AFC South, but yes, we can do the doubleheader on Monday.
Bucks Lions got me feeling football.
Do you like
things.
the doubleheaders on Monday night, Mark?
Yes, I do. I do, actually.
I like
because if one
on
game
Sundays.
stinks, you're like, I got another one. Plus, you got Game 7 coming up. There's a good football night and it's a good sports night overall.
I don't know how anybody doesn't like the doubleheader on Monday. Like, do you really need a 7th game at 1 o'clock on a Sunday? No. Give me 2 on Monday
night. I guess
night.
it depends on how many TVs you got at your house. I don't know.
2 TV night, maybe a 3 TV night if you have to.
Certainly don't have.
Multi-view is getting a workout.
7
for sure.
TVs.
No, you got the multi-view.
At 1 o'clock.
You got the multi-view. You can do a bunch of stuff. I don't know. See, I'm the other way, Mark. If I don't like the Monday night game and it's going sideways, then I actually have the rest of my evening free.
There you go.
Hang out with my kids
Catch
or
some
something like
Z's.
that. We've been talking all morning long about the Indiana Hoosiers. Not only did they come up with a impressive win of their own, it was a slow start. Michigan State trying to control the clock and did for a minute, and then the dam just breaks loose, and Indiana just goes on to roll as the number 2 team in the nation now. They came up with a 38-13 win at home over Michigan State. But I just want to say that I had to look again this morning. I saw it this morning when I left, and then I looked again when I got back. It's crazy to see them. Think about this, Kevin. Here's the company right now that they're keeping. Ohio State is number 1. Number 3 is Texas A&M. Number 4 is Alabama. Number 5 is Georgia. Number 6 is Oregon. And Indiana's right in the middle of that hand at number 2. It's crazy the real estate that they're occupying right now.
What a day. Indiana number 2. Where's Vanderbilt? Are they in the top 10?
They got a quarterback. They are 10th right now, as a matter
and
of fact.
Northwestern's 5-2. What a time to be alive in college football.
And Arizona State got that big upset win, too. Did you see that over the weekend?
Yeah. Well, that is a playoff team from last year.
Yeah.
Arizona State.
It's Bo Scadaboo playing for the Giants now. But anyway.
Cam Scadaboo, right?
Cam, sorry. It's just crazy, though, that Indiana, to me, is legitimately the second-ranked team in the country.
Well, and
right
you
now.
almost have to re-trigger your brain. Like, you're watching that game, and you're like, oh, kind of like a sluggish start. Like, I guess technically they didn't cover. Then it's like, wait, this is IU football we're talking about here. Ranked number 2 in the land, and then here comes another conference opponent. Oh, they're a 24-point favorite over UCLA coming up on Saturday. It's just, it's unbelievable what Kurt Cignetti's done.
Yeah, step backwards for Purdue. I thought they really had trouble, and Ryan Brown's going to be hurt and out for a while. Now, we don't know. Well, I shouldn't say that. We don't know. Very quiet yesterday on what the status of his injury might be. Northwestern beat Purdue by a score of 19-0. And Notre Dame. Can we say enough about Jordan Love? 34-24 win over USC. Every time I looked up the other night.
Jeremiah Love.
What am I doing with names this morning? Thank you.
Jordan Love is that crappy Packers quarterback.
I
was trying to get a rise out of Mark.
I was surprised Mark wasn't all over that, but please don't disparage the best player in college football because he wears number 4 in South Bend.
But my point is, every time I look up, that dude is running all over the place.
He's incredible. I think he's the best player in college football, and I know I'm heavily biased by that, but I think he is. So, not the prettiest thing for Notre Dame, but when the weather turned, that was an advantage to the Irish there. Much, much needed heading into their bye week, so they are in a position. They take care of business the rest of the way to be one of those 12 teams, and I think Jeremiah Love should be in any Heisman Trophy combo.
Yep. And don't look now, but we got a Game 7 in postseason play tonight. It'll be the Mariners and the Blue Jays after the Blue Jays destroyed the Mariners 6-2 last night. Another game that was not as close as that score might indicate. The pitching was terrific for the Blue Jays. Vlad Guerrero hit his 6th postseason home run. Tonight, 8:08, Game 7. You got a doubleheader, Mark, and Game 7. How about that?
So I told you, it's a busy night. You can't go to bed tonight. Plus, you got Monday Night Raw. Got to see what's going on there. You can't go to sleep tonight. If you're a true sports fan, you
Just
go to
don't
bed
sleep.
before 9 o'clock. We're going to have some talks on Tuesday morning.
All right, take a quick time out. More in a moment here as we continue on the Fan Morning Show on another Victory Monday for just about everybody else around here. We'll talk about it next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Another road game, another win for the Indianapolis Colts. They're 2-1 away from home, 4-0 at home. They'll be at home again on Sunday when they take on the Titans, but we've got to live, savor, reflect on yesterday's 38-24 victory, Kevin Bowen, over the Los Angeles Chargers. We bring in the third member of our booth, who is at LAX as we speak, overhearing your little conversation with Mark Dykton here. James Boyd, sounds like you're through security and ready to get home, right?
Yeah, something like that. Got to make sure I get home for the Shane Steichen press conference, which got moved up an hour today. So I'm glad I flew out as early as I did.
Good stuff. So here we go. You're joining us on the Payless Liquors hotline, talking about another win for the Colts. And we'll just start with the really good stuff. That offense feels unstoppable right now. What was it like to watch in front of your very own eyes?
I mean, they're a machine. I just feel like even with, guys being in and out of the lineup, we saw it without Josh Downs out there. They didn't miss a beat. This offense is, in my opinion, the best in the NFL, and not even an opinion. It's just a stat at this point. He was scoring so many points. It's crazy to me. And then hearing Mo Cox talk about it after the game, he was like, you know what? I was trying to tell Tyler Warren that this isn't normal, but he was like, it's hard to keep the rookie humble and tell him that this isn't happening every week when we keep doing it every week. So he was riding high. The rest of the group was riding high as well. And I even asked Daniel Jones, I said, does this feel normal to you? Because what you're scoring at is pretty historic. And he was just like, well, we expect to do this. And so I think that just lets you know the level that he's playing at and the mindset that he's, maintaining throughout all the success.
James, have you ever seen a celebration like the post-Grover Stewart celebration? I thought the entire Colts bench came out onto the field.
No, that was the funniest play ever. And he's the funniest player, man. Like, he'll make a great play, and then just his reaction in the locker room, Kevin, talked to him about it. I asked him, I said, hey, man, did you think about taking it to the house? He was like, if I had a little more space, I would have been making it to the house. And so he's a hilarious player, great player, and, someone who I think obviously deserves a moment like that because as you saw throughout the season, he had tipped up a couple passes for other guys getting interceptions, so he finally got one for himself.
We were talking about Daniel Jones a few minutes ago, and the fact that he just keeps making great decisions. He's taking really good care of the football, and he's spreading the ball around. It's always going to be Jonathan Taylor doing his thing, but from a receiving perspective, Josh Downs, we missed him yesterday, but we didn't miss him on the field because they just keep finding ways to do things. Like, what's it like to talk to those guys after the game when everything's working offensively right now?
I think the conversation afterwards was, let's keep this rolling. And one of my biggest takeaways, and I threw it in my story, I believe it's up right now at The Athletic, was talking to Mo Cox. He said, hey, well, Reggie Wayne said when we were rolling back in the day, our saying was just like last week, meaning they were going to win just like last week. And so you heard that saying, that motto kind of be yelled out in the locker room over and over again from offensive players, defensive players. And so they expect to do this week in and week out. And I think at this point we have to ask ourselves, with how great this offense is, how all in should Chris Ballard be to upgrading that defense? Because the defense, they got off the field when it mattered the most, but again, they flirted with disaster, I thought, in the second half.
James, do you think they should be more willing to trade for a cornerback or an edge rusher?
That's a great question. I probably lean toward the edge rusher. Edge rushers at this point, you look at the highest paid players in the league, it's quarterback, who protects the quarterback, and who gets after the quarterback. And I just don't think they have anybody who does it consistently outside of DeForest Buckner. I mean, yes, Grover Stewart is great at run stopping, got an interception yesterday. And like I said, Defoe holds it down, but the rest of that group, to me, just hasn't done enough. Even on the day where I felt like the Chargers, they were banged up. They didn't have really a starting offensive line. They had a bunch of backups in there, and they still were able to move the ball pretty effectively, especially in that second half. I mean, credit to the Colts defense for, having 2 takeaways, which I think ultimately changes games more than anything else. But, if you look at those 2 takeaways, those 2 red zone takeaways, they win by 2 touchdowns. I mean, other than that, they had no stops. I mean, Justin Herbert had a field day against that defense, that secondary. And again, I would think that, okay, if you get Mooney Ward back, you can upgrade your defense a little bit. Jalen Jones, hopefully he's back at some point this season. But I don't see any, any reinforcements coming right now on your roster for that, defensive line, which, Kevin, you harped on it a lot. You invested a lot, but hell, if you think this team can actually win it or go on a run, then you might want to invest more.
Yeah, I would endorse all of that, and I would also add this too, James. We did see yesterday a couple injuries to that defensive line room, Tyquan Lewis and Samson Ebukam. So, there isn't I think really anyone waiting in the wings, I don't expect all of a sudden JT Tuimoloau to strike gold in this rookie season. You bring up, okay, Travarius Ward back, whatever, in a month, and maybe Jalen Jones helps you out. There could be some answers at corner. I don't see those answers. There's only one defensive end even on the practice squad. Like, there's really nothing that I see of this is necessarily going to change. And right now, you are DeForest Buckner splitting double teams or seemingly nothing.
Exactly. And I think going into yesterday's game, I was still kind of teetering on like, should they be all in? Is this for real? But I'm like, looking at that offense, man, and the way Shane Steichen has those guys rolling, I'm like, you do not want to waste this. You do not want this opportunity to pass you by. And, again, you look at the rest of the AFC, there are vulnerable teams. There's still great teams out there, the Bills, and you see the Chiefs starting to roll, but I don't feel like there's this juggernaut or these juggernaut teams that you can't compete with. You've shown you can compete with them. You had a great statement win yesterday, but I think within that statement, like I said in my story, you said another statement to Chris Ballard, like, hey, do you make, this move? And so I saw him after the game, shook his hand, and I told him, I said, man, how about that offense? And he just kind of looked at me and winked, and I was thinking, I didn't bring up the defense. I want to keep you in a good mood. But, I know in the back of his mind he has to be thinking about it at least a little bit.
Anything else you need to report back from Los Angeles? Everything good? Did you find a little jug of beer? What was going on?
Nah, no jug of beer. I got to see my college best friend. Shout out to David Saavedra, who I grew up with back in Romeoville. He moved out west like 4 years ago. So saw him for the first time in over a year. Good to see him. And then shout out to listener Cole, who's flying back to Phoenix. He's a Colts Phoenix fan. Saw me in the airport a few minutes ago and said, hey, love the show, love what you guys are doing. And, usually when I get approached in the airport early in the morning, I'm like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I don't know what's going to happen here. But he was pretty supportive of what we do, fellas. So keep up the great work.
All right, buddy. Travel safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for checking in, buddy.
All right, man. Take it easy.
There's James Boyd, covers the Colts for The Athletic. Of course, our third person here on the Fan Morning Show, joining us from LAX there. So always good there. But, yeah, as much fun as we want to have with the offense, and we're going to celebrate it today. It's a Victory Monday. There's no question about that. But now you start looking at holes that the Colts have because you say to yourself, all right, for the long haul, if they're really going to truly compete this year, and it looks like they might, maybe they need to make a move or two defensively, Kevin. What's in play? I mean, what would you be willing to give up for what right now? Those are the things we'll talk about all week, I suppose, but you start thinking about it, don't you?
Yeah, you look at a lot of these teams. I know the Miami names have been brought up of Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. I mean, you look at some of these teams that will be drafting in all likelihood in the top 10. Can you trade a middle-ish round pick for an edge rusher? You obviously are not going to find, Max Crosby and Myles Garrett and those types of guys, but can you inject a little bit of life into that room? And I think it's really necessary. I mean, I was adamant all week long that this was a foam at the mouth game for the Colts defensive line, and the Colts internally thought it was times a million. They could not believe what the Chargers offensive line looked like, and yet you don't sack Herbert until 37th pass attempt of the game. And I know J.J. Watt and Noah Eagle, I should say, made Ian Eagle.
Yeah, it was Ian yesterday.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Noah Eagles doing the Notre Dame game on Saturday night. Great job with Todd Blackledge. But they made it, okay, Herbert doesn't get sacked. He does a great job of, knocking guys off of him. I mean, the Chargers were bottom 8 this year in sacks allowed. I mean, Herbert been sacked 17 times this season. It's not like he's invincible from getting sacked. And right now, with Buckner commanding so much double team action, it's amazing to me that the Colts can't win one-on-one more in other places. So that is an area that I would look at 2 weeks from tomorrow. That's the trade deadline. And I view edge rusher as more of the area to look at than corner.
How worried are you when you bring a guy in right in the middle of the season, though, that he's able to kind of integrate into what you're doing and pick you up right away? Because we've seen some midseason trades end up working out fine, but sometimes it just takes a while for everything to kind of come together, and you don't always get that jolt to the extent that you were looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be seamless, but I do think edge rusher can be a position where, hey, pin your ears back and it's 3rd and 8 and go make a play. And you don't have to, incorporate them into 17 different communication aspects of, hey, know this term and know that term. And yeah, sure, there's some stunts and some other things that they're probably going to need to learn, but pass rush, I think, is one of the positions out there where it's, hey, you know what to do. Go get that quarterback and try to beat that offensive tackle off the edge.
I only bring this up because I know so many people have brought it up to me, whether it's online or an email, and we've had callers and texters talk about it. Is a guy like Trey Hendrickson in play Because it doesn't seem like he's a long-term answer for the Bengals down there. The way things went in the offseason, are they committed him long-term? What do they do?
I mean, I assume the Bengals are still trying to win, right?
You'd think so.
I mean, didn't they trade for Flacco for a reason? Didn't they? I mean, they won the other night. So, yeah, I would assume, given Zach Taylor on the hot seat, that they would still be trying to win. So, yeah, I don't view Hendrickson as realistic.
And that's my point. Like, what do you think the level of player is that you can attain at this point?
Yeah, again, middle-ish round pick. I think you need to be looking at. I brought up the Miami Dolphins earlier. I mean, these teams that are drafting in the top 10 of the world. That's what you have to look at. Cast-offs, teams that are likely going to be probably sellers at the deadline. I don't think you're looking in the world of, again, Hendricksons and Garretts and Crosbys, but, for some reason, like Matthew Judon's name's popping into my head, like those types of pass rushers, maybe not the top flight guys, but, some of the first or second pass rushers on, top 10 drafting teams. And if you can find an area where, hey, it's a new GM or it's a new head coach, or we might not be buried to the previous regime's defensive personnel, those would be some of the ones that I would look at.
Yeah, and we can get some individual texts coming up here in a minute, but that's the big thing. Like, get some pass rush. This team is going to be cooking with gas, and so we start to think about what's possible out there and what's realistic and all those kinds of things. But folks like Mike, I don't necessarily disagree with him when he says, just pull the wallet out, first-round pick, get the man we need from Cincinnati. I guarantee a Super Bowl. Right now, the iron's hot. But the reason I asked you that question, Kevin, is kind of your answer there. Bengals haven't thrown the white flag up yet, not after that performance the other night. And so they're probably going to be holding on to folks for a while. Yeah, and they know they're getting Joe Burrow back at some point.
It takes two to tango, and you need to find the teams that are selling. And I don't view Cincinnati as selling right now. Yeah. But again, 2 weeks till the trade deadline, so what happens over the next 2 weeks? Do more teams become sellers that maybe aren't necessarily sellers right now?
Yep.
Plus, you will have roster decisions. So, like, mortgaging your first-round draft pick while you're looking at 6-1 and everything like that, you also have to be realistic. Like, there are still holes on this roster, even as good as we've played, that maybe we need to, instead of going fully in on like a Trey Hendrickson or something like that might cost us multiple picks in 2026 and beyond, do we need to make have some reservations and kind of keep those available for adding to the roster? Because there's some guys that are going to be not on this team next year, and even you still don't have the quarterback situation figured out. I know we all expect like a Daniel Jones contract extension down in the near future, maybe. But as of now, you don't have an answer there just yet.
Well, and I just view, pass rusher and corner. That seems to be the debate right now from fans. Okay, if you are going to make a trade here in the next couple of weeks, what position do you trade? I think both are important, let me be clear. But I think pass rush matters more. To me, I looked at Sunday as, hey, if your pass rush can really step up against Justin Herbert, that can alleviate some of the stress that you're going to put on a really depleted secondary. And yet, that's not how the game played out at all. And again, that pass rush entering the game was very, very healthy and hadn't lived up to it, in my opinion, this season so far. So I would give the nod to trading for a pass rusher more than I would corner. I just think that's an area where if you can disrupt timing with the front, then all of a sudden you're not asking your secondary to hold up for 5, 6, 7 seconds. Because I don't care who you are. You can have a bunch of whatever, Stephon Gilmore in their primes back there, and you're not going to be able to hold up for 6, 7 seconds.
Here's one point. Evan Almaty was saying, he just texted in and said, I hear what you guys are saying about D-line, but in the first half, Herbert was getting the ball out really quick. Any validity to that you have a quarterback that just is not going to let you get to him in the first half?
Yeah, I hear the quarterbacks are giving the ball out really quickly. I almost hear it every week with the Colts. I think they should be getting more disruption from a defensive line that has a slew of first, second, third-round picks, major money invested in it. I mean, the Chargers literally started, their 5th and 6th offensive tackle. Did you see how many times the Chargers subbed offensive linemen in during the game? I don't know if I've ever seen, every other play, seemingly, a new Chargers offensive lineman going in the game. Oh, this guy hobbles off. Oh, wait, no, now he's back in 2 plays later. And they got dudes running on the field. I'm like, that dude should not be playing. And next thing you know, there he is out there trying to pass block. So I just hear a lot of excuses for the defensive line right now.
Here's one thing I'll point out. We talk about getting better on defense, and I think if you're going to try to make a run for it this year and you're 6-1, why not? You do need to add something there. But having said that, I know it hasn't been the strongest schedule. I give that caveat. But plus 92, to put that into perspective, the Lions tonight would be playing their 7th game of the year. They need to score 44 points if they would want to make up that difference to be the number 1 team in point differential, Kevin. They'd have to outscore their opponent by 44 tonight to do that. That's how far ahead the Colts are right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're the most dominant team in the NFL, bar none. And, again, I led off the show with this, and I'll kind of go back there. I think if you're a Colts fan, I think what you're most encouraged by yesterday, yes, your offense was surgical, but you met the moment. The Colts circled yesterday's game on the schedule. They circled it. That game meant more to the Colts. I think it meant more to the Colts than the Chargers, frankly. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with whatever. Shane Steichen spent 9 years there, so naturally he's going to have a little chip on his shoulder. I'm fine with, hey, look at the schedule so far. We're not going to totally ignore it. We realize that, Harbaugh, Herbert, and, a team that's made the playoffs a couple times in the last few years, those haven't been the weekly opponents. So how are we going to react to a little bit of a higher stake game, a little bit more of a measuring stick game? I think when those moments have arisen for this franchise lately, albeit mostly at the end of the season, they haven't met the moment. And yesterday, watch Quentin Nelson's reaction at the final gun yesterday. That man's hopping around like they just hit a game-winning field goal to win the division. You don't see guys react to 14-point wins in the middle of October like that very often. And yet, I think, watch that post-game locker room celebration yesterday. These guys, I think, treated this game in a different light. That's fine. Meet that moment. And they 1,000% did yesterday from the start. They set the tone early on. Sure, you want more out of your defense, but when your offense is able to build that lead, Nick Cross and Grover Stewart make those plays, which not enough is probably being talked about by both those plays. I mean, I know James mentioned it when we just had him on, but without those plays, it could be a totally different game. The Chargers almost going toe-to-toe with you, scoring-wise. Those were huge plays in the game.
It's Fan Morning Show. Give us a call in a few minutes. We'll do the Pulse of Colts Nation, see what's going on and how you feel about your team right now. It's 6-1, 239-1070. Not only the number to call, that's the fan text line as well, 239-1070. We'll get to some of those. In the meantime, for a couple of minutes, I want to talk some college football. Fernando Mendoza, according to his coach, Curt Cignetti, had his best game of the year. Fundamentally, decisions, running the offense the way he wants it run. He was talking about that in the postgame. 24 of 28 for 332 yards and 4 touchdowns. And I can't say enough about guys like Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt, and they're running the ball with such balance all over the place. You want to talk about a team, I know Michigan State's not the greatest team. They were 3-3 coming in. But Indiana just looks like they look for real, Kevin. It's fun to watch them look for real. It doesn't feel like any kind of facade at all. They're the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, big day for Omar Cooper as well. Just love the way that he plays. There's some baby Deebo Samuel in his game. I thought a huge play kind of early in the first half. They went for the 4th and 2, and then I want to say the next play after that, maybe Black rips off that huge touchdown run there. And that was still kind of a back and forth first half to a degree there. Obviously, you had a little bit of the weather delay at halftime, but it is funny watching that game, seeing the final score, and it's we have to retrain our brains with Indiana football. It was kind of a sluggish first half. You don't cover, but then it's wait a minute, Indiana football just won a conference game by 25 points. I mean, what? Usually you're celebrating any Big Ten win, let alone one by 25 points in whatever that weather was there mainly after halftime there. So. Yes, beyond deserving of that number 2 ranking. They are a huge favorite. I'm a little surprised the UCLA line was as big as it is, 24.5. Coming up, big noon kickoff. So you'll get the Fox crew there in Bloomington. They'll get UCLA at the 9 a.m. local time with a noon kickoff in Bloomington coming up on Saturday.
It's going to be fun to watch, but I keep thinking of that game, and I went back and watched both plays a couple of times yesterday. The 48-yard touchdown pass that he threw to Omar Cooper Jr. right in stride. And then you want to talk about dropping one in the bucket to Elijah Surratt there at the end. Not at the end, but one of his last touchdowns there. It was a 27-yarder. He's throwing with confidence. He's throwing on time. He's hitting guys in stride while they're moving forward. Everything feels good when you watch
dots,
this
right?
now,
Isn't that what the young kids say? Dots.
I don't know. We'll ask Mark.
Yes, sure.
Not a lot of dots from Caleb Williams yesterday, but
yeah, didn't need to. You had DeAndre Swift running all over the place.
Sure. Daniel Jones, a lot of dots, and Fernando Mendoza, a lot of dots right now. Is he still the Heisman favorite?
He's one of them. How about the kid from Vanderbilt all of a sudden?
Pavia? That's where game day is coming up, right?
That kid,
he's got some Manziel to him.
He does.
Hopefully mostly on the field.
They're number 10. Can you imagine a world if I'd have told you 15 years from now, 2025, Indiana's going to be ranked number 2 and Vanderbilt's going to be 10th.
Mendoza is the second favorite for the Heisman right now.
Who's number 1?
Is the Bama kid up there? Simpson?
Ty Simpson, number 1. Yep.
Where's Jeremiah Love? Top 5-ish? Top 7-ish?
8th.
That's all after.
Plus 2,000 if you want.
Unbelievable how running
sprinkle
backs
some money on
get
him.
so disrespected. Like, I feel that way about Jonathan Taylor in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Derrick Henry in years past. I mean, I remember like Bijan Robinson was like way low on the Heisman awards list whenever his year was.
CJ Carr 10th? Want to sprinkle some money on
that?
that?
To me is laughable that Jeremiah Love is only 2 spots above CJ Carr.
Yeah.
Like, Jeremiah Love is easily one of the best players in college football.
Jeremiah Love plus 2,000, CJ Carr plus 5,000. So, Kevin, you want to throw a little money there? Head of the Pacers season.
I think Love is incredible, but Notre Dame's not going to have enough marquee moments the final 5 games of the season for him to, if he's 8th right now, or
it's Monday morning Notre Dame Kevin right there.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you said.
Sounds about right.
Well, no, I'm just being a realist of what their schedule looks like the rest of the way.
They're getting better as they go. They go.
I'm very, very happy with where Notre Dame is at, but look at their schedule the rest of the way.
All right. I love the fact that they still have schedule. They don't have. I mean, they could sit there. Can you imagine if Notre Dame could pick and choose, and they'll just do like maybe 2-3 tough games, and then just roll over everybody else for the rest of the year? They could do that.
I was like, I'm so glad they have a schedule. And you said that, I was like, what?
No,
are they just going to stop playing?
No. They continue.
We'll just sit here and wait. We'll point to the Golden Dome and say we're a playoff team.
And in every other place, teams are trying to. Now we see it in the early part of the season. Not every team wants to play really tough competition. Notre Dame keeps scheduling who they've been scheduling. I like it. Just do their thing.
And
Keep
they
going.
overcame you visiting the USC campus. I was not
somehow,
too happy when I heard that.
Well, but I waited until the football team was actually gone. See, that's how
Jeff's sending me pictures of Heisman trophies at USC, Mark, over the
weekend.
weekend.
They got a little replica of Reggie Bush's Heisman trophy in their little Hall of Champions. And I'm thinking, that probably wasn't there 5 years ago.
Did you bury like a Notre Dame hat on the campus somewhere for Kevin?
No, I should have, Kevin. I should have gone like a little rogue there on campus.
Sickening as he's petting the Heisman trophy like it's a young puppy.
I didn't touch. I was afraid to be.
Well, considering Heisman trophies at USC might get taken away, so it might be like see it while it's there.
But then it comes back. See, that's how that works. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll talk more with you about the Colts. Your feedback at 239-1070, both on the text line and on the phone, as we continue a Victory Monday here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Now Fernando has Hemby to his right. Man comes in motion. Mendoza takes the snap, hands to Hemby, right up the gut. He pounds his way into the end zone. A terrific power run, and Indiana will take the lead right back. Fernando takes the snap, gives to Hemby. Hemby drives his way. Touchdown, Indiana! Roman Hemby gets it in the end zone from 2 yards out, and Indiana's got the lead. Fernando takes the snap. They pressure him, the throw to the end zone. Touchdown! EJ! Wow, what a play, and it was actually Surratt who made the catch. Here's the snap back to Moore. He throws it. It's an interception. Intercepted by Indiana. The Hoosiers come up with it, and Isaiah Jones comes up with a pick, and Indiana gets the football back again.
Back to the line of scrimmage, and Jonathan Taylor took a handoff right side from Daniel Jones and scampers into the end zone from 23 yards out. Shotgun snap, and Jones throws upfield. Caught Michael Pittman. Touchdown! Yes, sir! Third down and 17 now for the Colts. Move it back to the 27-yard line. Empty set for Jones. Has good protection. And he's going to take a deep shot downfield for Alec Pierce. He's got it! An over-the-shoulder catch is made inside the 30-yard line of the Chargers. Shotgun snap for the quarterback. Good protection. Fires in the end zone. Tyler Warren. Touchdown! I-N-D-Y with a spike into the end zone. And the Colts are perfect today. 3 touchdowns on 3 drives. Herbert looks that way initially, scanning. Over to his right, throws in the end zone. Picked off! Nick Cross took it away from the receiver. Amir Abdullah from the 5 on the kickoff. 25. He's at the 30. He's got the 40. He's at the 50-yard line. Down the far sideline. He's got a chance. 30, 20, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Taylor in motion. Jet sweep to him. Taylor turns the corner. He's at the 5. Looking for the pylon. Is he in? No signal yet. He is. A touchdown. High snap for Jones, but he pulls it down, gives it to Taylor. Marching to his right. He's at the 5. Touchdown. The trifecta again for Jonathan Taylor. 3 rushing touchdowns for the greatest running back going right now.
Not that you care, but those of us on the outside, I think, are a little surprised at just how well this team is playing to start the season. What do we need to know about this group that maybe we didn't know going into the year?
I mean, I don't know. Sounds like y'all didn't know much, but we're just going to keep going, keep working, and we have a lot of confidence. I think we got a lot of good players, guys who work hard and do the right things.
It just shows that, hey, when you come to play us, it's going to be a 4-quarter match, similar to how it was today. We're going to fight, scratch, and claw until that clock strikes 0.
I love this league. I love it to death. I love this organization. I love these players. I love our owners. Man, and it takes all of us. It's so special. It's so special, right? And don't ever lose this feeling, man. Don't ever lose it, right? Keep fighting every day to be the best.
Not only do the Indianapolis Colts get a big win on the road against the Chargers, they are now 6-1, and Kevin, again, another not just double-digit win for the Colts on that offense, but more than 14 points. That's becoming a regular thing. That just doesn't happen in the NFL.
Frederick Durst.
Yep. That's him.
Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
Love me a little Freddie Durst right there. Mark Dykton.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say Frederick Durst before.
Excellent. Well, you got to be proper.
The doctor probably said it when he was born.
Show some respect right there. Mark Dykton, tremendous. Welcome back to Mark there. Was that cocky Daniel Jones we got there?
I know. I like that.
Was that?
Stringing some wins together. All of a sudden, he's getting a little personality.
Evan Washburn catching strays there from CBS. Shout out to Daniel Jones. It looked like a star-studded night inside of Hinkle Fieldhouse on Friday night. Brad Stevens, Gordon Hayward, Shane Steichen, Daniel Jones. I thought I saw Daniel Jones maybe purchasing a 50-50 ticket at some point. Is there anything more American than that? Buying the 50-50 ticket at your local college basketball game?
Did you have fun?
We had a great time. Excellent back and forth game. Notre Dame built a couple double-digit leads there, but I would say some intrigue for both squads this year. So great time there. But, Daniel Jones, excellent. I mean, what more can you say? Stays away from the negatives. He finds simple, seemingly the answer that is there on every play. He is circling that answer. And it's not always the flashiest. It's not always 3rd and 17, Alec Pierce, boom, da bomb. It can be 3rd and 10, and Amir Abdullah, here's your check down. Here's 8 yards, and now it's 4th and 2. All right, Shane Steichen, go into your bag. All right, boom, here's Michael Pittman Jr. He's going to fake, blocking and sealing that edge like we do so often, and there's Pittman Jr. wide open. Every level of this passing game, dudes are just wide open. And again, Jones is finding them. And when occasional pressure arises, he stands in there, he takes hits, and he delivers the football. Last week, down 7, down 3, boom, boom, boom. He's able to deliver for you in the fourth quarter. It's just brilliant. Brilliant from Steichen, brilliant from Daniel Jones. I say this is the biggest compliment. Just two football nerds loving life. Two football nerds obsessed with a game that are just chess over checkers seemingly every week.
All right, they're like Dale and Brennan of Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends? They're right there. Teams. They got a whiteboard and they're just drawing up plays.
I mean, there they are. I wish they could have been mic'd up at midcourt for the Butler game. Like, hey, we don't have time for a picture with Blue here. We got film to break down in our.
Did they have a Surface sheet in front of them, Microsoft Surface in front of them, breaking down plays on the sideline there?
In our heads right now. Here we are, just dissecting what we're gonna do to Derwin James and the Chargers on Sunday.
Who's the one man you'd sleep with? John Stamos. Yes.
Beautiful. 239-1070 is the number to call. Let's go talk to Josh this morning on a Victory Monday. We'll let you guys celebrate this as well. Josh, what did you watch yesterday as the Colts just offensively dismantled the Chargers?
Well, first thing, I just want to say happy Monday. It's a beautiful day, and what I saw was just great competition by what we've seen from the Colts years and years ago, and they've just been bringing it back. And living in Indiana, I am very proud of them. The way Jonathan Taylor is just able to move up that field and find those pockets, man, definitely top running for the runner back of the year. I will definitely say MVP. The way Daniel Jones, before the pre-snap, you could see his eyes darting around the field. He's looking at that coverage. He's trying to understand the play of what he needs to do and how he's going to attack it. And honestly, I think that the Colts should be 7-0 still. I feel like Mitchell, he gave up there against the Rams, I think 2 weeks ago, and I feel like people are doubting the Colts, but we are coming back and we are showing them what we are really about this year.
Well, it's a lot of fun to watch. I know everybody's getting excited, and it's been a while, and I appreciate the phone call, Josh, but I go back to something we said a minute ago for everybody just joining us. First 6-1 start in the non-Manning division that the Colts have ever had. And
say that again.
Okay, so only the Peyton Manning years did you have a better or equal start to 6-1. That's it. Before Peyton Manning, never. After Peyton Manning, never. And what has been the problem, even recently moderately successful Colts team, is getting started out of the gate. And this team did not have a problem getting started out of the gate. 6-1. How many years have they been behind the eight ball, even with good teams, losing that first one or two games, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, even 2014, right? The year that they went to the AFC Championship game, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I know they lost the opener that year. So, yeah, it's incredible what they were doing. Really ran away from the Chargers yesterday. To me, it's the offensive balance. We'll do whatever we want to do. And yesterday, they missed Josh Downs. Josh Downs is a really key ingredient, is he not? Really important player. Oh, yep, we're fine. By the way, for those that care about how they replaced Josh Downs, it was Anthony Gould easily playing the most snaps of his young NFL career. 39 offensive snaps for him. A.D. Mitchell had 5. I did think Mitchell had a nice catch there near the sideline.
Is that 8? Is that 8 on the year now? I've only got 72 to go.
I think Mark's got some bubble guts, so he just ran out of the old studio here. But yeah, if Mark was in here, I think he'd be playing the.
He'll probably have a chance a little bit later on. No question about that. But I just love that. Alec Pierce, and we've known this watching him grow. But I was watching somebody nationally yesterday who was talking about the fact he's not just a downhill speedster threat. He's making a lot of big catches across the middle, had a nice little toe tapper yesterday. He's becoming a complete versatile guy who, yes, can blow the top off of a defense, but he's starting to get open all over the field, Kevin. And
yeah, he's going to get paid a lot of money. He is. And I don't know if it'll be here, to be honest with you. That's what happens when you all of a sudden got to pay a quarterback. There are some dominoes off of that. So, yeah, I think the rest of the NFL thinks really, really highly of Alec Pierce. And, the Colts turned down a second-round pick for Pierce back during the draft. I mean, that goes to show you what I think some of the teams around the league think of him. And again, that's before, I think to your point, Jeff, this season he showed a little bit more of a let's round out the game. Let's not just be the home run hitter. Can we hit it to the opposite field? Can we do those things? And I think he's showcasing that certainly. So, honestly, a great contract year for him. How about a great contract year for for Nick Cross? I mean, you want to talk about one of the big plays of the game. I don't think, like, Grover Stewart, that was one of the funnier, cooler plays of the year. And, like, good on Grover. He's the one that got his big paws up there for the Latu pick a couple weeks ago. But when you think about it, the Colts really, did they only stop, did the Chargers punt once? Was that it? I'm trying to think. I'd have to go back and look. But you didn't really naturally stop them outside of the Grover and the Cross plays until, the 21 play drive there to end the game. Those were huge interceptions, third down interceptions. And even if those balls fall incomplete, Cameron Dicker is such a great kicker. Both of those field goals are going in. And at halftime, it's still a little bit more of a, obviously the Colts would have had the lead, but there's a little bit more of a back and forth to it than what it turned into. So, I know we've talked a lot about the defense and the pass rush has got to be better, and that's certainly true. But those plays and across the one-hander there in the end zone, just huge, huge interceptions to stop an offense that you obviously had issues stopping yesterday.
Well, Colts are getting it done, and they're doing things right, but people still want to nitpick, and I get it. For example, we've got Scott who says Herbert has some great escapability. The D-line did have hands on him. They hit the quarterback 14 times before he moved out of the pocket. They're missing him by a half step every time, he says. But he thought the bigger issue is, why did Steichen just go for 3 at the end of the first half when they seemed very relaxed and let a lot of time off the clock in that last first half possession?
Yeah, I know a lot of people have asked about this. Shane Steichen is one of the more anal coaches, I would say, in the entire NFL when it comes to time management, clock management, and not wanting the opponent to get another possession. Now, we saw it at the end of the Denver game. Pretty much almost cost the Colts. Yesterday, I think Steichen looks at it in that sense and says, you know what? We have to get 3 here and make sure they don't get 0. Whereas risking it to get 7 to him, but possibly letting them get the ball back seems a little too greedy for him, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was not surprised at that drive and how Shane handled it. Again, I know, both Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt were a little bit more like, wait, what is Steichen doing here? He's being too conservative. I think it is just Steichen is so cautious, especially with Justin Herbert on the opposing sideline, of saying, I don't want him to get the ball back. And that's what he was doing there. I didn't have, that big of a deal with it. I think at that point of the game, as long as you could avoid the Chargers getting the ball back, you were in such a great position with where you were at to continue to kind of pad your lead. And if they go score to start the third quarter, then maybe it's a different game. And by the way, speaking of sneaky plays in this game, how about Amir Abdullah's kick return?
I thought he was gone.
That's a 32-year-old taking off in the open field there.
He doesn't look 32 years old, though. He doesn't look washed at all.
He's been the second back. He's been the one in the game before DJ Giddens. They brought him up to the 53-man roster. For those that missed this on Saturday, Charvarius Ward, that concussion running into Drew Ogletree pregame is going to knock him out for a month. So yesterday he missed. Titans game coming up, he'll miss. And then what is it? Is it Steelers-Falcons? Are those the next two? I think after the Titans game.
Yep, Steelers-Falcons.
So that's DK Metcalf, Drake London. That's a little bit more of a potential kind of shadow opportunities. You won't have Ward. But Abdullah's been a nice find here. And he's really your backup running back, as little as they do use a backup running back. And with Ashton Dulin out, you needed some new kick returners. So back there with Anthony Gould was Amir Abdullah. That was a big play. It
was a huge play. And, the other thing they're talking about while we're talking about special teams, Rigoberto Sanchez had some punts, just 2 of them yesterday. But they were pointing out, too, for the national audience, it's only the 11th punt, the first one he had yesterday of the entire season. You're 7 games into the NFL season, Kevin.
Speaking of special teams, I think Shane Steichen trusts his kicker about as much as I trust myself on Thanksgiving to only have 1 plate.
That's not, it's not happening, usually. 1 plate?
Correct.
No.
So Shane Steichen doesn't trust his kicker is what I'm getting at.
Doesn't seem
I'd
like
get
it.
slapped by my grandma if I only had one plate. She's like, you're wasting away. You have to have more than that.
It's been a while since the Colts have had a kicker miss an extra point. I don't think Matt Gay missed one at all last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Have some more yams. What are you doing?
4th and 4 there. It looked like Steichen was going to go for it there before they overrule? Yeah, I think they overruled and said Anthony Gould actually caught that ball over the middle of the field. So, Again, when you're scoring to the magnitude the Colts are scoring, it doesn't really matter. But at some point, you got to think they're going to get into some Michael Badgley right leg moments, and particularly outdoors. Heinz Field and Arrowhead and Seattle. I mean, you got some outdoor games still left in the schedule. Jacksonville. That is one item that
Seattle could be raining there too.
You probably should keep an eye on.
Take some leftovers. I don't have the fridge space for all this.
You've just derailed Mark. All he's thinking about is Thanksgiving dinner now.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't
Is
take
there
much.
any, and God bless my mother and God bless my mother-in-law, is there anything they say more than please take some leftovers?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want it.
I mean, and the meals are outstanding. I'm so grateful. God bless Colleen Bowen. God bless Lisa Lovers. Love them both dearly. But, man, if I had a dime for every time they said, please take some leftovers.
Yeah.
It's their job. My
They
grandma
hand me
was
like
always
half a
that
pizza.
way.
Here you go. I'm like, when are we doing this? You got kids to feed. Yeah, we have food at the house. We have shopped.
Mark, in your next life, you should be a mom.
I know. It didn't take much. Already, kind of am. Put that down. Let her alone.
Science these days, you can maybe do that if you'd like. By the way, this time tomorrow, I believe Rick Carlisle.
Look at
time of year.
Tuesday.
Preseason's
8 o'clock,
over.
right?
I'm sure he can't wait.
Preseason is over.
I'm sure he can't wait. Thursday, Pacers Thunder regular season opener. The Pacers need
Game 8?
Pacers need a point guard.
This is game 9 now. Did we count the Summer League game?
Well, didn't you play him in the preseason?
Yeah.
Was
Game
it twice
10?
in the preseason?
Game 11? Where are we at here? I need
Pacers Thunder will open up the season. NBA will get started tomorrow night. So Rick Carlisle in his Tuesdays with us. We're very grateful for that. Sounds like that'll start up tomorrow. But yeah, Pacers need a backup point guard. It sounds like for opening night. They cut Cameron Payne yesterday, and again, TJ McConnell going to miss probably 10, 12 games to start the regular season. So that will be a question to be solved here over the next 24, 48 hours.
Well, they got to find that. And, of course, they got rolled on by San Antonio in the last preseason game. So they are getting ready for the first regular season game, and everybody gets underway this coming week. We're looking forward to that. This Pacers discussion presented by C&J Water, the official water treatment partner of the Indiana Pacers. CNJWater.com. This can start as soon as the season gets going, and I am saying, again, for the over on 41, Kevin. I think that they end up having a winning record this year.
Yeah, I like the over as well. There's been, maybe a pause of concern or two here in the preseason. I'm not going to overreact to it, though. I've decided, so yes.
Have you placed your Pacers bet
Over.
yet?
No, usually I wait right until we get underway. So I'm gonna wait here. I feel like honestly the Vegas skeptics are more. I feel like it's dropped from 38.5 to 37.5.
Mm-hmm.
So if that trend continues, then I'm gonna juice those odds even more.
I like it. Let's check things down, Mark. Colts 38, Chargers 24. Jonathan Taylor runs for 3 touchdowns. Michael Pittman had a touchdown reception. Tyler Warren had a touchdown reception. Just another ultra-efficient day for the offense. Not crazy video game numbers, but they kept scoring touchdowns, Kevin Bowen.
I don't know. Some of it's pretty video gamey to me. 12 of 12 in the red zone. The only reason they stopped scoring in the red zone 12 straight drives is because they chose to kick the field goal at the end of the first half. They could have approached a franchise record. I think 15 is a franchise record there. So, Taylor 3 touchdowns once again. I mean, that's video game like. And Daniel Jones, even when it's not sexy, it's so efficient from him, staying away from the negatives. 5 of 7 games this year, he has yet to turn the ball over.
One concern, the passing game for the Chargers was on fire. 420 yards passing for Justin Herbert, but it still never felt like the Chargers were truly in the game after the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, if they would have caught, one more score there and cut it to, a one-possession game, then I think it could have been interesting. But, yeah, definitely some defensive questions here as you get a little closer to the trade deadline. 2 weeks from tomorrow, the NFL trade deadline. Mark, some people are just wanting to make sure we get the A.D. Mitchell catch counter.
Oh, yes.
There. You were out last week. Caleb was scrambling a little bit to find it there. So if you get a chance, I believe it's number 8.
You can do that right now. Yeah, he had 1 reception, so that puts him at
8.
Let's
which
go.
means
Let's go.
he only needs 7.2 receptions per game the rest of the season to hit that 80 catch
Can that
mark.
voice do double-digit numbers? Can we get like 72?
I think it goes up to 10, so I'd have to really like doctor some
Maybe we
audio
should have
here.
a countdown
Can you
instead
get
of a
maybe
count
Jason
up.
Hammer to get some AI audio in
You know
there?
what?
And-
I'm gonna text him right now.
72.
Yeah.
I could probably order that up.
Something tells me we won't need 72. We won't need to reach that high.
No, but we can count down.
Low 20s,
How many
maybe?
do we need?
It was a nice catch by A.D. Mitchell. 5 snaps for him yesterday.
It's got to play his way out of the doghouse. There's no question about that. But I still wonder if he holds on to that football through the goal line, what's his role like after that game?
8.
I think we're still at the same number. Probably. I still don't think he's getting as much run, even if he catches that touchdown.
All right. So anyway,
you?
the Colts are now 6-1. They have the best record in the NFL. They could be tied by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers if the Bucs win tonight. There are 2 games coming up on Monday Night Football tonight. Tampa Bay plays at Detroit and Houston.
That's a
at
sexy one.
Seattle.
That is sexy right there.
Houston's
That's a
just
good Monday
2-3, but they're starting to play a little bit better, and they are, of course, still trying to chase down the Colts. They have a pretty decent point differential right now. Believe it, at 2-3, they're like over plus 40, something like that. So to double check that. So that's going on in the NFL right now. We can also tell you that Indiana, now the number 2 team in the nation in both the coaches poll and the AP poll. Only Ohio State is in front of them right now. And just you talk about doing what you're supposed to do, methodically taking apart a conference opponent at home after I guess you could say a little bit of a sluggish start where Michigan State was holding on to the ball a lot in that first quarter. Then all of a sudden, it was on, and Indiana starts scoring at will for a while there.
One thing to note about Indiana, too, if they can continue to be ranked this high, even if they were to lose in the Big Ten title game to Ohio State, they could still get a bye, potentially as one of those top 4 teams, which, again, if you are a top 4 seed, you don't get a home game, which I think is stupid. I think the quarterfinal game should be on campus as well, but that's for a different college football playoff rant. But they would then, again, as a top 4 seed, you get slotted into wherever, Fiesta, Peach Bowl, Orange Bowl, one of those slots there. And that's how you would start your playoff run. 3 games you would only need to win the national title versus the 4. So just something to keep an eye on. And again, the fact that I'm saying that out loud is it's amazing to me.
So 38 points also scored by the Hoosiers, just like the Colts. 38-13 win over Michigan State. They keep rolling on. Purdue got shut out on the road at Northwestern 19-0. And Notre Dame wins a battle of top 20 teams. They were get the victory against USC on Saturday night, 34-24. And you got to be happy. I know you're not completely bullish on this team, but I like it to get better every week.
Oh, I'm very happy. Very, very happy. Was thrilled. Was probably a little too obnoxious for the household on Saturday night. But some big plays in the second half. Jadarian Price taking it to the house. Jeremiah Love's the best player in college football. And much needed bye week for the Irish there. Thank you, Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman with a hat on. Still pretty good looking when he rocks the hat.
I like it. Marcus Freeman is one of those guys that just has it going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does.
I mean, you look at you look at that guy and you're like, that dude is living right.
I'm not him.
Yeah. So here's what we have coming up next week in college football. Indiana will host UCLA, and you said the spread on that is what right now?
24.5, I believe it opened up there. I did see Nico, the QB. I saw he got hurt late in that Rutgers game or the Maryland game. I think he stayed in there, but he was definitely gimpy coming off the field. But that's a big noon kickoff. So Fox, you'll get UCLA at the 9 a.m. local time. I think that's ideal for Indiana.
And Purdue will be hosting Rutgers and Notre Dame.
Purdue's got to win that game.
Yeah, they got to score some points.
If you can't beat Rutgers, I mean, you don't.
But is Rutgers sitting there going, man, we got to win that game against Purdue?
Yeah,
if we
both
don't beat
of them
Purdue,
are, right? Aren't they both winless in the Big Ten?
It's been a struggle so far.
Barry Odom was deservedly pissed after the game on Saturday. That was embarrassing.
That was not a step forward for the Purdue program. No question about that. Major League Baseball, we have marked Game 7 of a championship series tonight in the American League. Seattle will be taking on Toronto. Blue Jays with a 6-2 victory over the Mariners last night. Vlad Guerrero had his 6th home run of the postseason. Nice pitching performance all the way around for Toronto. And it all just comes down to one game to go get the right to probably get your heads bashed in by the Dodgers. But
again, if you're a sports fan, you've got a doubleheader of Monday Night Football. You've got Game 7 of the ALCS.
What a Monday.
You can't ask for much better of a Monday in late October. Unless you're going to a trunk or treat and you're getting a bowl full of candy, too.
How much did you guys eat on your vacation?
Have we started trunk or treats?
I think they start this week. I've already been told there's a few that are on the checklist. So, yeah. Get all the crappy ones out.
I think we've got one coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
All right. So, who do you like tonight in Toronto? One game.
Ooh, boy.
Are they both bullpenning it up, or do we have, real starters that are going?
George Kirby is going to start for the Mariners. Shane Bieber is going to start. So, Toronto's going for it right there.
Bieber. Man, I can't wait. This is a fun little Monday here.
I'm going to say the Blue Jays get it done. I'm going to go with Toronto.
I want the Mariners.
I wouldn't be opposed to that either. They're also a fun team.
I want
anybody but the
Griffey
Dodgers.
slide into home for the win here.
I want whoever wins tonight to win the World Series.
Yes, I would agree with that.
All right. We had Chase Briscoe, Tony Gilliland, Ty Gibbs, Bubba Wallace. I believe those are the guys going for that was the NASCAR results yesterday.
Are we
from
at the halfway
Talladega.
point in the NASCAR season? When is the season over?
It just keeps going
ends.
and going and going.
I mean, Jeff literally could have said Bobby Labonte won the race, and I would have been like, oh, nice. Did he
Bobby
pass,
Boucher won.
Did he pass
okay.
Terry down the backstretch for the win here? Shout out to
those
Darren
are the points
DeVries
from yesterday.
I know we haven't mentioned that. Indiana opened up their exhibition slate. They pounded Marion on Friday night. Trent Sisley, that name, of course, Southern Indiana folks know quite well. 8 for 8 for the freshman off the bench. It'll definitely be an Indiana team that shoots and probably makes a lot more threes than we're used to. So they rolled. They shot a ton of threes in Puerto Rico, and they did it on Friday night here. So Indiana Baylor upcoming this weekend at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Purdue down there to Rupp on, I think that's Friday night for Matt Painter's squad as exhibition season continues.
Saw Pat Knight saying some really nice things about their interviews and what he's got going on now.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun to see too. So yeah, a lot of stuff. Marion, coached by Pat Knight, of course, and you saw all kinds of former legends in the building at Hinkle on Friday night, right? Legend, current and past legends.
Yes, it was a great night at Hinkle. Great turnout there. Fun watching Notre Dame and Butler play. The video boards look awesome inside of Hinkle there. So nice, probably expensive, but a nice upgrade there in that iconic venue.
All right, anything else you want to throw in before we head to break here?
Let's break it up.
All right. Coming up in a moment, more of your feedback, 239-1070. We'll talk a little bit about the Colts, what they have ahead of them. Indiana, what does the rest of the season look like for the Hoosiers at this point in time? We got a lot to talk about on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Along with Kevin Bowen and the recently returned from more time off, Mark Dykton. We appreciate you being here this morning.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad the key card still works.
Still works. We got James Boyd en route back to Indianapolis from Los Angeles as we speak. We spoke to him from the airport about an hour ago. It seems like it's pretty much consensus. Everybody watching this game who covers it, and even the fans, love the offense right now. Happy with the defense, doing enough to win. But if they're going to be true contenders this year, Kevin, they're going to have to find a consistent pass rush, not just bothering guys occasionally in the second half, but you got to start getting to the quarterback and changing, because it changes the way the quarterback operates moving forward.
Finishing. Yep. Justin Herbert's played what? I'd guess 80-some games in his career, and yesterday was a career high for him passing yardage. So I get some of that little window dressing there to end the game, but still, those Nick Cross-Grover Stewart interceptions, great plays, huge plays in the game, but, naturally getting off the field, that's been a struggle right now. So mentioned it all morning long. I think the trade deadline calls for a pass rusher. And that's what I think is necessary for this team. And we did see a couple injuries. Samson Ebicom and Kwity Paye on the D-line both get hurt in the game yesterday. So, I would argue performance and potentially now healthy bodies available. You need some attention there. Not really much on the practice squad. One guy, Darrell Nchami, who really hasn't played in the NFL. So I think it's needed because, you look at some of these quarterbacks in the wild card picture right now. Herbert, Allen, Mahomes. I mean, these are some of the teams you could be seeing, in your own building potentially in round one of the playoffs, depending on how the number one seed will go and how the bye will go. So it's needed.
All right, you ready to do some goats of the week? I know James is not here to participate, but we are the good, the bad, the ugly. It's time, Mark.
Who is the GOAT?
I told you all that I was the greatest of all time.
Jordan, here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good!
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Or GOAT?
This guy sucks.
Of the week.
You want to start good or bad here, Mark? You tell me.
It's a Colts win.
Got to start
Victory
good,
Monday.
right?
You start with the good.
Well, sometimes you want to finish on a high. Sometimes go the other way. All right, we'll start with the good. We'll let you go first since you're just returning.
Sure.
Mark Dykton.
All right. Guys.
Yeah.
I know I returned from a week off, but what year is it again?
2025.
It's 2025. And the top two teams in the AFC are the Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots.
The rivalry is back on.
Oh, look at that.
We have a renewed rivalry on our hands here.
It is back
Could we have Brady and Manning part deuce, Jones versus Jones versus Drake May? That is what we're looking at right now. Patriots and Colts atop the AFC. I wouldn't have predicted that heading into the season. I don't know who would have. But could you imagine the AFC Championship, Colts versus Patriots
at Lucas
Oil Stadium?
Woo! Chris Ballard knew, did he not?
Chris Ballard would be giddy. The fan base would be giddy. It would be nice to see that rivalry mean something again, as it kind of lost its luster as the Colts went through the quarterback abyss. So I like seeing the Patriots atop the AFC. I like seeing the Colts atop the AFC. Those games having some meaning in would be very good for the sport of
You might be the
NFL.
only one in the city that likes to see the Patriots atop the AFC.
I would like to see the rivalry renewed.
The rivalry is back on.
You're damn right.
That's well done, Mark Dykton.
Drake May, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Kevin Bowen, who do you like so far this week?
I got to go back to, Friday night. And James Boyd has said this quite often. One thing he hates about baseball is he can't run his best player necessarily out there every day. Now, he means it more from a pitching standpoint, of course, than a hitting standpoint. Well, for one night, Shohei Ohtani told James Boyd, hold my jug of beer. Ohtani, 6 1/3, shutout innings, strikes out 10. He hits not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs in what is undeniably, considering the stage as well, one of the greatest individual games, bar none, in the history of America's pastime there. One dude dominating a baseball game, you don't get it. And Shohei Ohtani did that on Friday night. Absolutely GOAT performance from him.
3.
That's
How many home runs he hit?
he's closing in on 80 Mitchell.
Yeah.
No, I said this I didn't watch all of the game. Once I was clued into it by my phone, I was checking a little bit of it out on the phone because I was out with my son. But I went back and watched some of it, at least the extended highlights from Major League Baseball. I don't know in my lifetime if there's ever been a more complete baseball game out of anybody. I've been watching baseball forever in my life, for a long, long time. To do one thing, I mean, we'd be talking about a great performance just on the mound, Kevin, for 10 strikeouts in that setting to send you to a World Series game. But then to come back with not just 3 home runs, but one of them was a tape measure home run. I mean, that thing might still be going.
GOAT.
Incredible.
I don't know what else you say other than that.
It's very rare that in a sport like baseball, you see that kind of single-handed performance from one player just dominate to a victory.
Everybody. And he makes it look so easy.
He does. It was breathtaking. It was absolutely incredible.
It was insane. So, yeah, that was my GOAT as well, and I don't mind doubling up and talking about Shohei Ohtani because I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. All right, bad GOAT of the week.
Okay. I wasn't a big fan of last night's Sunday night game. I thought it was a bit of a dud, quite frankly, between the Falcons and the 49ers. But what really stuck in my craw was then seeing the promo for next week's Sunday night game. And I'm at a crossroads, folks, because it is the Packers against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. So I have the hated Green Bay Packers, who do suck.
Packers suck.
Yes, they do. And then going up against Aaron Rodgers. Now, I know that's sexy from a TV standpoint, Aaron Rodgers facing his former team.
Mark's praying for a meteor.
You're not far off. I don't know what I want to happen. I certainly don't want either team to win necessarily. Maybe the Steelers, but Aaron Rodgers maybe throws for like 80 yards and 4 interceptions or something. Maybe it's a ground game kind of victory. I'm disgusted by next week's Sunday night game. I don't know where I'm going, but yeah, meteor might not be too far off, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going to defend my young childhood friend. That would be the one, the only Kyle Klein here. He texts me irate about Michigan State kicking a field goal down 28 points in the final minute in Bloomington on Saturday, and that field goal went in, and that field goal covered the spread.
Changed a few things.
Michigan State. Mark Dykton, can you agree on me with this? No final 2-minute field goals to decide a spread in a game that is greater than a 10-point margin. Are we good with that?
Yes, I'd agree.
Both coach, because Kurt Cignetti kicked the field goal on the other side like a minute earlier to then get you over the spread. No field goals allowed in the final 2 minutes of games where the spread is on the line. Obviously, I know it's a ridiculous ask by me. This will never happen. But for our gamblers out there, this is necessary, particularly in the college game, when everything comes down to the little walk-on kicker to try and save face to where you can tell your buddies, hey, at least I covered the spread. We need this.
Where do you fall on like the safety, like the on-purpose safety to like run the clock?
That is blasphemy as well.
Yeah.
Like what Mendoza did against Iowa?
Yes.
That needs to be obliterated as well.
All right, in that spirit, I'm going to go. Did you guys see the end of the half with Michael Penix last night? Falcons, 49ers?
Vaguely.
All right,
Again, that game was not most entertaining.
No, but it was a close game, so every point's going to count, right? And Atlanta is at the 22-yard line of San Francisco, into the first half. They're threatening to cut into a 10-3 lead before the break so they could, even if the field goal, now it's just a one touchdown game to take the lead. But with 17 seconds to go on the clock, Michael Penix Jr., he's back to pass. He's under pressure. He throws the ball out of bounds, but he was still well inside the tackle box. That triggered an intentional grounding penalty, and because the ball hit the ground at the 10-second mark, they had the runoff, and you get no points on the road in a close game because you're just not managing the clock. I say this again and again, and I say it on behalf of my buddy Jim at Sunrise. It drives him crazy. Some of the clock management you see at the highest level in the NFL, it seems like there's 1 or 2 games every week where we scratch our head and go, what are they doing, Kevin? At the highest level, don't they have one person on the sideline who's just managing clock and saying, okay, if this is what we got to do on this play. Be careful of an intentional grounding. Be careful you don't run out the clock. Take care of this stuff.
Yeah.
Why does this happen over and over?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. Yes, there are people hired specifically for that.
Yeah, I can't imagine at that level that there's clock management the way that it is. So I guess collectively, but in the form of Michael Penix last night, that's my go to the week, bad go to the week. All right, coming up just a moment, we'll get more of your feedback, 239-1070. It's a Victory Monday all over the place for all kinds of teams. We'll talk about it as we continue on a Monday morning. Hope you're having a terrific start to the day. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. How awesome, Mark, that song could be about any number of guys in the Indiana college and pro football scene these days.
They've been killing it. Indiana locally, Hoosiers, Colts. What more could you want right now if you're a football fan?
I think Jeremiah Love's still running up and down the field from Friday night, isn't he? I mean, what did he have, like 220 yards rushing the other night?
That boy's good. Wouldn't mind seeing him in a Bears uniform next season. Just saying.
It's like the end of a Hills episode on MTV back in the day, Mark. I
can dial up some Hillary Duff on the other side if you'd like to.
Unwritten Natasha Bedingfield, if you can work that in there.
Were you a Kristen Cavallari or an LC fan?
LC.
See, yeah. I was Team Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen.
My roommate in college and I had this big debate. I'm like, fine, you can take LC. That's fine.
Yeah, Kristen.
Give me Kristen all day.
Taught me a few things.
Yeah, you know it.
It's Fan Morning Show, 239-1070, number to call if you want to get in on talking about the Colts yesterday, or also just text us up. Mark is all fired up again this morning. I love the fact that no matter where you're at, you'll get yourself even further fired up one way or another.
I'll try. It doesn't matter if I'm at a Buc-ee's at a rest stop in Tennessee or if I'm right here with you guys.
How many Buc-ee's did you guys hit over the course of your vacation?
4 or 5, I think. It wasn't like we made all these purchases. It was just like, you need to go to the bathroom. If you have to go to the bathroom on the road, I mean, a Buc-ee's rest stop is going to get it done because those restrooms, those bathrooms are immaculate. I mean, full, like, door to the floor for the toilets and everything like that. You got full privacy there.
What's
a man
your
can get a lot of thinking done in a Buc-ee's bathroom.
What's your go-to food choice when you go to the Buc-ee's there?
I mean, you got a million options for
you
jerky.
Get the barbecue there?
They've got brisket. They've got all kinds of pulled pork products. Breakfast is solid. Kevin has not ventured to a Buc-ee's yet. I need a live stream of him whenever he visits to a Buc-ee's. Whenever
you need a picture with him with the beaver out in front, don't you?
The beaver, yeah. Get a full beaver shot, Kevin, if you can. That's always a good thing. No, regardless of if you're at a gas station or not. But, yeah, Buc-ee's is always solid on a road trip. You see that beaver smiling at you from down the road, and you're like, I'm almost there. Cheap gas and good food. What more could you ask for?
There you go. Sounds like you had a good vacation.
It was very solid. Girls had a great time at Disney.
They get a bunch of candy at Disney for Halloween and stuff.
All sugared up, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, good times there. And then saw my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. Went to the beach. Good times out there.
All right. Good times all over Indiana for football. We've been talking about that throughout the morning here. But also, a paying season ticket holder did want to remind us that as much as we're into football today, rightfully so, Chase Briscoe from Mitchell, Indiana, just reminding people he's in the lead right now with, I think, 2 races to go in the NASCAR playoffs.
Shout out to Chase Briscoe.
So there you go, Mitchell, Indiana there. And people are asking you about injuries and things like that. So Jalen Jones, where's he at?
Still on IR. Yeah, still on IR. So the return, I think there was some thought potentially here in October. So we'll wait and see that. That hamstring injury has been really nagging. And again, Mooney Ward went on injured reserve back over the weekend. So he's got to miss 4 games. So he'll be out through the bye week. So he'll miss Sunday, Titans, what is that? Falcons, Steelers. I think you flip that around. Steelers and then Falcons. He'll miss those 2 as well. So I still am team pass rush more than team corner in terms of what they need to add. You know, if you're debating those 2, they're both impactful positions. I think pass rush matters slightly more. And I think the answer's there. Like, you could talk yourself into, maybe Jalen Jones will give you something. Obviously, Travarius Ward, you hope will be back at some point. Like that, okay, I can listen to that. Where is that on the defensive line? Because I don't see it.
Kyle from Fishers, this might be for you, Mark. Cross-sport parlay opportunities tonight. Bucks plus 6, Toronto on the money line.
Bucks plus 6, okay. I don't mind that. I do think the Bucks could beat the Lions. The Lions are a very good team, but that Baker Mayfield is also having an MVP-like season. So you could talk me into that. I need to see what odds are and everything like that. So I'm open to it. Might have to get a multi-sport parlay going before the end of the show.
Should we believe Dane Fife? He claims that LC followed him on Twitter for 3 days.
Lauren Conrad did? What changed? Was she like,
some screenshots.
This is not the Dane Fife I thought it was. And clocked out?
Can we get some Natasha Bedingfield at some point in the 9 o'clock hour?
Sure. Yeah, I need some proof of that because why would she follow you and then unfollow you?
Dane, good luck to your lines tonight. Yeah, what did she see in 3 days that made you all of a sudden, want too many Dan Campbell gifts?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
I was probably back when Jim Caldwell was coaching the Lions.
Carmen Electra followed me out of the blue, and she hasn't turned back yet.
Yeah.
She might have muted me, but she hasn't.
The real Carmen Electra?
The real Carmen
She
Electra.
loves your Bears
verified
takes.
it?
Yes, verified.
She loves you living and dying to the Cubs.
I guess so.
Wow.
Or my love for 90s babes. I guess that could be it, too.
What does 90s have to do with it?
Carmen Electra.
Okay.
Need I say more? By the way, the new Naked Gun with Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson, very good. We watched that over the weekend. That was very funny.
Good stuff.
There you go.
Wes texting in, did want to give Ballard some credit for getting the difference makers this season. Anarumo, DJ, and getting the 2 new starters on the O-line. When he did so, they were ready to start the year. And it looked like he did a pretty good job putting the secondary together before all their injuries started to hit, too, Kevin. We were talking in camp about just how deep they looked in the secondary position. Man, that went away after a couple of weeks, beginning of the year.
Yeah, and honestly, if you, to me, I think that was the biggest change, was just that approach from a secondary standpoint in free agency. That was the biggest one. And I think, from a Shane Steichen standpoint, he's super close with Gus Bradley. I think finally, again, the defense needs to be better, but it has been better than it was. That change and saying, all right, Gus, enough is enough. We need to change schematically. That was big on both those parties, Ballard and Steichen.
Coming up in a moment, is this the real Daniel Jones? 7 weeks in. Is this just what we have now? If so, we'll be pretty happy about it. We'll talk about that, take some of your feedback. 239-1070 coming your way next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
KB and Jeff.
Back to the line of scrimmage, and Jonathan Taylor took a handoff right side from Daniel Jones and scampers into the end zone from 23 yards out. Shotgun snap, and Jones throws upfield, caught Michael Pittman, touchdown! Yes, sir! Third down and 17 now for the Colts. Moving back to the 27-yard line. Empty set for Jones. Has good protection. And he's going to take a deep shot downfield for Alec Pierce. He's got it! An over-the-shoulder catch is made inside the 30-yard line of the Chargers. Shotgun snap for the quarterback. Good protection. Fires in the end zone. Tyler Warren. Touchdown! I-N-D-Y with a spike into the end zone. And the Colts are perfect today. 3 touchdowns on 3 drives. Herbert looks that way initially, scanning. Over to his right, throws in the end zone. Picked off! Nick Cross took it away from the receiver. Amir Abdullah from the 5 on the kickoff. 25. He's at the 30. He's got the 40. He's at the 50-yard line. Down the far sideline. He's got a chance. 30, 20, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Taylor in motion. Jet sweep to him. Taylor turns the corner. He's at the 5. Looking for the pylon. Is he in? No signal yet. He is. A touchdown. High snap for Jones, but he pulls it down, gives it to Taylor. Marching to his right. He's at the 5. Touchdown. The trifecta again for Jonathan Taylor. 3 rushing touchdowns for the greatest running back going right now.
Not that you care, but those of us on the outside, I think, are a little surprised at just how well this team is playing to start the season. What do we need to know about this group that maybe we didn't know going into the year?
I don't know. It sounds like y'all didn't know much, but we're just going to keep going, keep working, and we have a lot of confidence. I think we got a lot of good players, guys who work hard and do the right things.
It just shows that, hey, when you come to play us, it's going to be a 4-quarter match, similar to how it was today. We're going to fight, scratch, and claw until that clock strikes 0.
I love this league. I love it to death. I love this organization. I love these players. I love our owners. Man, and it takes all of us. It's so special. It's so special, right? And don't ever lose this feeling, man. Don't ever lose it, right? Keep fighting every day to be the best.
Fresh new kicks and bands. You got it like that. Now you know you want to dance. So move out of your seat and get a
Good times for the Indianapolis Colts, 6-1 right now. They have the number 1 ranked team in the AFC, and if the Buccaneers don't get some business taken care of tonight, they'll be the only 6-1 team, and they'll still have the better plus-minus differential. Colts, that offense right now, you get the feeling if they needed to win a game right now, 41-38, they probably could do that, Kevin.
Yeah, that is abundantly true. Yeah, they just outstanding. Clinical yesterday from the offense. The balance of the unit. It's not just one player. It's not just the run, not just the pass. The ability to methodically move the way down the field, and then boom, you need a 3rd and 17. Here's Alec Pierce for the home run. Obviously, Taylor has shown home run ability, and I've said it throughout the morning, but this game meant more to the Colts. I don't know how publicly they did it, but it did. This game meant more. They circled this game on the calendar. The whole measuring stick, the whole, hey, it's the Chargers, it's Harbaugh, it's Herbert, it's a road game, it's a marquee opponent. Yeah, all of that was true, and the Colts felt that, and I think meeting the moment has been something this franchise has struggled with in recent years, and I don't want to make too much of a mid-October football game because there will obviously be bigger games, and the Colts are positioning themselves for bigger games down the road. But for them to, approach the game in that manner and then back it up, I think is a strong sign of growth and a team that has unbelievable confidence and belief in themselves right now. And offensively, it's so surgical. I mean, it's Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones, 2 just football nerds slicing and dicing their way through every NFL defense.
I love it. Looking at some of the national feedback and the covering of the games yesterday, for example, CBSSports.com says the Colts might have the best offense in the NFL, and a big reason for that is because Daniel Jones is playing the best football of his career. He threw for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half, including a touchdown pass to Michael Pittman on 4th down in the second quarter. Shane Steichen clearly has full confidence in Jones and the offense. He had his team go for it on 3 different 4th downs, and the Colts converted them all. You're talking consistently now. Everybody seems to feel like this is the real Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones stand up. What were we going to get at the beginning of the year? I was not completely sold on them getting Daniel Jones this year, but Shane Steichen knew a lot more than we did when it came to getting Daniel Jones. As we've said before, Kevin, he was looking for a guy who could operate his offense, and boy, has Daniel Jones done that.
Yeah, and I you often hear, people say this in regards to Daniel Jones' season so far, like, this is what happens when, you finally have a quarterback that understands what Shane Steichen is trying to do, or, man, was Anthony Richardson really this bad? I think it's discrediting Daniel Jones a little bit to just label it like that, because it's not like Gardner Minshew and Joe Flacco were putting up these numbers. So I think the praise for Daniel Jones, in whatever way you want to put it, staying away from negative plays, exceptional. Like his ball placement, it's in stride, it's catchable, it's, seemingly decisive with all of his decisions. He's finding the answer that is there, I think, pretty quickly in plays. Like, do you ever feel like Daniel Jones is panicked or rushed?
No.
Even when pressure is there. I don't feel that way. I felt that way at the end of the Arizona game in the fourth quarter. When you're down 7, you're down 3. He hasn't been in these situations before as a Colt. How would he handle them? And he handled them beautifully. And like, he has made such a living, I think, especially off of the check down, really. And again, it's not a sexy play. It's not something that's going to show up on highlight reels, but I can think of how many times he has just dumped the ball off to Downs or to Taylor or to Tyler Warren. Yesterday, Amir Abdullah had one of them where, again, it's not some earth-shattering, I fit a ball in a window 15 yards down the field, but let me check it down. Let's have a positive play. Stay ahead of the chains, and then boom, missed tackle happens, and now 3rd and 10 turns into 4th and 2. And now you're going for 4th and 2. And now you get 4th and 2. And it's just one more stab of the knife into the LA Chargers. So, outstanding. Outstanding from Steichen, outstanding from Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Aaron from Minnesota texting us at 239-1070 says, it's amazing how a running game and a very underrated offensive line can benefit an offense. But it's all there. To your point,
the O-line
Kevin,
deserves a lot of
everything.
credit.
And, you talked about after the game watching Quentin Nelson jump around right now. I almost was thinking for GOATs, just he and that offensive line for the Colts, because they're giving Daniel Jones time to throw. They're opening up holes, and what they don't open up, JT is getting through a lot of those first contact hits. Like, I know it's one moment in time, but 7 games in, what don't you like about that offense? I mean, there's always going to be something for people to claim they claim has to improve. That's true, but they just keep putting points on the board every week.
I mean, I know if you look at the schedule the rest of the way, I want to say they play, I think it's 5 or 6 games against some top scoring defenses. So, yeah, I mean, there will be further challenges, but up until this point, they have just emphatically passed every test thrown at them. And, maybe you can get into a debate of, hey, is this the best team in the NFL or the best offense in the NFL? Maybe that's splitting hairs a little bit here. Like, overall team, yes, I do think your defense has some questions that still need to be solved. But offensively, they are in a different stratosphere, frankly, than just about any offense in the league right now. Dudes are wide, the you-know-what open. Jonathan Taylor is running the ball at a level that's right up there with anybody else in the league, bar none. And that balance is just impossible to defend.
A lot of fun. It's fun. You know what? I oftentimes will go back and forth because this is what we do here at the radio station. I listen to Matt quite a bit, and then I'll watch the game. It's tough to sync them up these days. You can do it, but you have to be right there to do it because there's always a little bit of a delay depending on the service you're getting the football game on, whether it's DirecTV or whatever. But anyway, I tried to go back and forth, and just you can hear the joy in Matt's voice of calling the game for this team. You can almost hear it in the voice, the confidence that exists in this offense right now. It's nice to have after not having that since the last time the Colts were good with Andrew Luck. To know that you can score if you get behind in a game. If you really need a touchdown now, it's not out of the question.
Your level of the Colts re-signing Daniel Jones to an extension in season has changed to what?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know. The Daniel Jones thing, I feel like, is complicated. If you're Daniel
from his standpoint or from the Colts standpoint?
I would say more from his standpoint. Like, if you're Daniel Jones's camp, why are you in a rush to sign things?
Yeah.
I mean, if you really believe in your client right now, I mean, Daniel Jones keeps on tacking on millions with each of these games. Now, if the Colts wanted to, they could slap the franchise tag on him, but still, and again, this is what makes the Alec Pierce thing complicated. This is what makes the trickle-down effect of whatever, Nick Cross and Braden Smith. You can't re-sign everybody. And it's a beautiful problem to have, but it's different. We're not used to the Colts being in this situation where a quarterback's going to make, right now he's going to make north of what the Darnold comp was or the Baker Mayfield comp was if he continues down this path. And that's just the reality of the situation. So, I would say probably it's more to do with the Jones camp than the Colts camp, which is kind of wild to sit here and say. I would think the Colts would have had more hesitancy of, hey, it's 6 games, he's got injury history, the 2022 season with the Giants, gives you maybe a little bit of pause, but now I would say that my thinking's changed on that, Mark. I would say it's a great question. I'd say if you're the Jones camp, there's a little bit of kind of let's continue to bet on yourself. Now, some might say, hey, it's football. Injuries could happen at any point. You just want to sign the deal and sign the deal. Okay, I could probably hear that. But individual play-wise, boy, you just keep on tacking on commas and tacking on zeros.
Yeah. I think if you're the Colts, you would come with an offer and you would say, listen, clearly you and Shane have a good rapport. You guys are gelling. We'd like to keep this rolling. We think this is a fair offer. What say you? And go from there. See what he says. Maybe he's game too. Maybe he's fallen in love with the city of Indianapolis and the team. He's like, this is finally the system that I was built to play for. I feel comfortable here, and I'm willing to sign. But you're right. He could be making bank and go elsewhere next season.
And I know there are some cap restrictions to doing an in-season extension. I think Stephen Holder shared that with us last Wednesday, a couple Wednesdays ago, like on where the cap number's at. So, Mark, that probably complicates some things too. But just looking at it big picture-wise, yeah, I could hear you out on that. And look, Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen, you want to talk about a marriage. It is the ultimate. There I am walking into the Butler game on Friday night. Max Bones taking 9 hours to cross the street. The Butler Blue statue that's right there above the Butler Bowl. Max is climbing on him and, doing all that. And he's petting him and everything. And, he's looking in his, fake cage and everything. I'm like, Max, come on. All of a sudden, this super nice car is trying to drive by. This guy puts down the window. Will you guys move it? In a bit of a joking manner. Shane Steichen driving and Daniel Jones riding shotgun.
I like it.
On a Friday night, the one off time these NFL people have. Like the one moment. They're getting on a plane the next day to go to LA. The one quiet moment, handful of hours they have. These two dudes are mid-court at a Butler game. Daniel Jones is buying 50-50 tickets. Now, if you leave at halftime, can you still win the 50-50 prize, or do you think you have to be present?
Yeah, I think you have to turn your ticket in and get it.
Well, now they're doing 50-50s where you don't even need to be attending the game. At least like some teams are doing that. I'm like, that's cheating. That's lame.
I'm all for raising money, but I don't like that.
Yeah, that's lame.
I don't like that at all.
You're sitting on your ass at home and you're not in attendance at the game. You should not be able to buy 50.
They should have one of those strobe cameras that like pans the sections and like Price is Right. And then if you win the 50-50, then you rise and the whole place claps.
Did you buy $5 worth? Would you?
I'm saying Daniel Jones bought the 50-50 ticket.
I know. I'm just wondering if you did too.
No win here.
Okay, just checking.
Great crowd at Hinkle, by the way.
To your both of your overall points, at some point, given the career that Daniel Jones has had, given that the Colts have been looking for a quarterback since Andrew Luck and have been striking out all over the place, at some point, aren't you just the couple that was destined to be? Kevin, don't you both feel that way at some point in time?
It sounds like a Hollywood love story here.
Well, that's kind of what, from an offensive standpoint in the NFL, that's kind of what it is. I think we have a statistical and football playing love story going on.
Two football nerds. Yeah. Two absolute football nerds that just love it. And which, honestly, the more I see this marriage play out successfully, the more I'm confused by the Anthony Richardson draft pick, I must say. I get you were probably backed in a corner a little bit as a franchise, but it is kind of wild. But yeah, Shane Steichen, I've always been bullish on him as an offensive play caller and that side of it. But the whole belief in the football team, I think, is something that should be mentioned as well. Because, again, to meet the moment, like watch Quentin Nelson react to the final gun yesterday. That's a dude hopping around, jumping around for a 14-point win in October over a non-divisional opponent.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that very often. And I think the Colts, they circled this one. And I'm fine with that. I think NFL teams, frankly, and even college teams, I love the embracing of it. Like, it was easy for Marcus Freeman to do that, but he pointed out several times leading into the USC game, Marcus, what do you remember from your football career? I remember the rivalry games more than any other. Like, I like when there's a little public acknowledgement of, yes, some games do mean more. Some games we realize the measuring stick is a little bit more of a true barometer. And if you go on the road and beat a Chargers team like that in October, now when you're in Arrowhead the next month, or you're in Seattle the month after that, and it's late in the game, and you're thinking about yourself, is there anything you can point back to and say, hey, we've been here and won a game against quality teams, against a legit quarterback, against a legit coach? What does that do for you now? And I think that's a real question in a positive light for this 2025 Colts team.
Mark, you were talking about the possibility of, can you even imagine a New England Colts championship game here at Lucas Oil? Right now, do you know the Chargers are the second best, have the second best conference record in the AFC? You could be playing them again later on.
I'm signing for that. I think every Colts fan would, considering how yesterday went.
Although, doesn't it kind of, in Kansas City right there, like, yeah, we're coming. We're here. They're not going away.
They are starting to do Kansas City-like things. So, I mean, I know it was the Raiders yesterday, but, they're starting to find their groove a little bit.
They got Rashee Rice back.
Is a dude. Obviously missing from Patrick Mahomes, and he's back now, and they are rolling all of a sudden.
So, I mean, here we are 7 weeks in, and your best teams in the AFC, the way that they're playing right now, if I had to rank them, I would probably put the Colts number 1. I'd probably put Kansas City number 2. If I had to rank teams the way they're playing right here, right now, Kevin Bowen.
I mean, even the top 3 teams in the AFC is the Colts, the Patriots, and the Broncos. Who would have had that?
The Broncos are weird, though. Like, they could just as easily be 2-5 as they are 5-2. Everything comes down to a last-second game or something with them.
Say a prayer for anyone who's a Giants fan.
They could also be 7-0.
That sounded like a wild finish.
It was. Did you have a chance to watch that?
No, I was writing for Colts, but sounded
that
insane.
Game looked over. It was 19-0, and then the Broncos go on to score 33 points.
33 points in the fourth quarter.
Bo Nix just all of a sudden turned it on. It was truly insane.
Yeah, you got bad interference calls followed up by missed extra points, followed up by another penalty against the Giants, and it was anything that could go crazy the last minute and a half of that game. Absolutely didn't. Even the Packers game, watching the end of that Packers game, Mark. I know it was tough for you, but that was a crazy ending to that game too.
I'm going to hang my hat on the fact that the Packers almost lost to Jacoby Brissett. So that's how I'm handling yesterday's win. And, that's fine. You guys beat Jacoby Brissett. Congratulations. Now you're going to lose to Aaron Rodgers probably. Hopefully.
Did you see the Rams bounce back and just jump all over Jacksonville yesterday? How about that?
Yeah, that was a pummel. Yeah. So the Colts right now a 2 full game lead in the AFC South over the Jags.
All right, let's do a quick check down and get on to some other feedback things from everybody out there in the listening audience in a minute here, Mark. If you're the 9 o'clocker who's just getting up right now, man, do I envy you. Being able to sleep in on a Monday, that would be outstanding. Or maybe you just got to work. Either way, we'll let you know the Colts got by the Chargers 38-24, but you probably already know that. 3 touchdown runs from Jonathan Taylor. That's almost seemingly becoming an every other week type thing, Kevin. He just keeps getting into the end zone.
Fantasy football fans, very, very happy about Jonathan Taylor. 1 MVP vote you get, you two. Daniel Jones or Jonathan Taylor? You only get 1. And I'm going to ask it and not answer it myself.
That's why they have the Offensive Player of the Year now.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to still go Jonathan Taylor. I think what he's done with the run game has made the passing game. You have to respect the Colts running game, so you have to obviously account for Jonathan Taylor. Therefore, it's letting the passing game find its way.
All I know is Daniel Jones makes every right decision almost every play and gets this team, along with that running game, in terrific positions. I'll probably go Daniel Jones right now just because that's what quarterbacks do.
I got to break a tie, and I'm going to kiss the ass of my boss.
Oh, boy.
Hopefully it helps out in the next paycheck. Daniel Jones.
We do our best. But the Colts are now 6-1, sitting in the
There goes any
catbird
more
seat.
vacation you're getting, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gone.
Still got a few seated away.
Yeah, you probably got, 14 to go the rest of the year?
I'm going to need to
Something
check.
like that. Next 3 weeks, Kevin. Tennessee, Steelers, Falcons. And then it really starts to tilt up in terms of the schedule.
Yep,
So,
you got a bye week this week, right, with the Titans? Is this the closest thing to an NFL bye week?
well,
Did I see Jeffrey Simmons got hurt on Sunday?
You got to show up and still play the games, man. The NFL is weird.
And an interim coach,
Mike McCoy.
They didn't even get the dead cat bounce in that game, which I thought they might against the Patriots, but nothing going on. I think Mike Vrabel was making sure his team took care of business in that football game.
Certainly.
Yeah. So final score 38-14 for the Colts. We were talking about the Titans yesterday. They were drubbed by the Patriots 31-13. By the way, do the Patriots have themselves a franchise quarterback, Kevin? Appears so.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Drake May looks legit.
Yeah, there's no debate about that. I thought Drake May looked great against the Colts last year.
Yeah. We mentioned a moment ago, Rams beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 34-7. And later on tonight, the AFC South schedule finishes up for Week 7. Houston Texans on the road at Seattle. The second of 2 Monday night games for you, Mark Dykton. The first one featuring the Buccaneers and the Lions.
That's the sexy one right there. That one right there. Sign me up all day.
Gotta like that. Later on tonight, we have Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. It'll be the Mariners playing at Toronto. Last night, the Jays kept the series alive to force the Game 7. 6-2 was the final score there. George Kirby and Shane Bieber. Later on tonight, that pitching advantage would seem to favor right now the Blue Jays.
I will take Toronto, although I'm not hating on the Mariners. I would like to see Toronto do it, but whoever wins tonight, just please beat the Dodgers, who are probably out in Cancun right now just celebrating since they have such a long layover from the NLCS and kind of take a little vacation before the World Series.
All right.
You're waving the AL flag once the World Series begins.
Yeah.
You put up a W for that, too?
There's a W flag on the nighttime Disney show, so we saw that. But then, I saw the Brewers have 0 wins since hanging the L flag at Wrigley. So, interesting how that worked out.
All right, college football. We've got new rankings to tell you about. The Indiana Hoosiers are number 2, the highest ranked they have ever been in school history. They're hanging out. Just look at this top 6. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Alabama 4, Georgia 5, Oregon 6. Not only are they in that pool, they are leading the way other than Ohio State in that pool, Kevin. That's just incredible to watch and see.
So what did you – I know we asked this last week. When do we get the playoff poll? When did you say that, Jeff?
Early November, right?
So we still got a week or two away from our first playoff poll there.
It used to be tomorrow. Like this would be the cutoff, the first Tuesday after the midway point of October, but they've moved it back, thankfully. To really give teams a chance to kind of separate themselves. Another surprise there, Vanderbilt checking in at number 10. And Notre Dame, they just got to keep doing their thing and rising through the ranks. They are now 12th ranked in the AP poll and that 13 in the coaches poll. So
yes, very pleased with what happened Saturday night. Not the cleanest. C.J. Carr, a horrific red zone interception. Kicking game was about as ugly as the weather, but Jadarian Price, a huge kick return for a touchdown, and the best player in college football is number 4, Jeremiah Love.
All right. We'll tell you quickly what happened in NASCAR over the weekend. We got a win for Chase Briscoe. How about Briscoe and Denny Hamlin, the 2 drivers that have collected the most points so far that have clinched their spot in the Final 4. Right in pole position for the 3 and 4 spots right now, Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson, after everything that took place this past weekend. So that's what's going on in the world of sports. Anything else you want to throw in, Mark Dykton? Before we get going?
I think that's it. Lock in for a fun Monday night in late October.
And Kevin, you watched, it was an exhibition game, but Friday night in person, Notre Dame Butler, college basketball.
Notre Dame was able to pull it out there. They built a couple double-digit leads. Butler made a run at them. Again, your exhibition, you obviously are not playing your starters kind of full throttle minute-wise, but Jamie Kaiser, big-time shooter for Butler, got hot in the second half there. Finley Bizjack, one of the lone returnees, looks to be an important scoring piece for them. They definitely need, I think, guys like Jalen Jackson, Michael Ajayi, who has an NBA body on him already, to really step up for them. But, freshmen showed some nice minutes for them. I expected Notre Dame to be the better team. Notre Dame returning a lot more. And Jalen Harrelson had a couple moments as well, the 5-star freshman for the Irish there. So great Friday night in Hinkle, and quite the list. I mean, usually, it's like the Caitlin Clark appearance inside of Hinkle, but Shane Steichen, Daniel Jones, Brad Stevens, Gordon Hayward. Not a bad little Friday there inside of
also
Fieldhouse.
Yep, and Indiana all over Marion, and you don't know what you're going to see. Darian DeVries coming in with all these new players and a new way of playing.
Threes, and more threes.
Oh, man, they were making them the other night as they had an easy 107-46 win over Marion. But looks like they got a couple guys that can shoot and play, and we'll see what happens as the competition gets a little better. But Pat Knight, after the game, said some really nice things about DeVries and what he's got to say.
Laugh at his joke about it's nice when the coach has a son that's worth a you-know-what. Shout out to Tucker DeVries being very good at basketball, and Pat Knight taking a shot at his own game there. But again, Indiana will have Baylor. That's upcoming Sunday, 1 o'clock there. That is over at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So the Colts play at, 4:25, right? This is the weird Colt-Titan game at 4:25. IU Baylor at 1, and Purdue will have their exhibition slate beginning with Kentucky. That is down at Rupp Arena on Friday night.
The number 1 preseason team in America right now.
Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue.
Yes.
Playing very well. All right. It's happening in the world of sports. We'll get some more of your feedback at 239-1070. Take a look back at some of the other things happening in the National Football League and more as we continue on a Victory Monday here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Oh, how about I turn on my microphone there, Mark? Does that help? Yeah, I didn't realize mine wasn't on either. But another victory Monday. We talked about the Colts, but for Indiana, I like the fact that to win the trophy with Michigan State, you got to win 2 games in a row to take it away from the other team. Kind of dig that.
Oh, is that really a rule?
Yeah, I didn't know that until yesterday.
No idea.
I started reading about that later on, but I had no idea either. So kind of like that idea. But they're doing everything right now. They're doing things they haven't done in decades, whether it's winning that trophy, whether it's rising to number 2 in the polls right now. They got an unbelievable quarterback. They've got skill players. We don't probably talk enough about the defensive players they have. I know we spent some time on their linebackers last week, but it's a complete football team. Like, what's their weakness right now, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, hard to argue really anything. They kind of played with their food for about a quarter or so, and then were able to put it on after that. And, who knows how much they'll really get tested the rest of the way. I mean, I don't know. I saw Penn State. Didn't Penn State lose to Iowa over the weekend? I mean, who the hell knows what Penn State's going to be playing for here in a couple weeks. Happy 32nd birthday to Big Grove. Grover Stewart got his paws up there for a big one yesterday. I thought it was hilarious. I literally thought the band was out on the field when the Colts emptied the bench to celebrate with Grover Stewart after that interception. Those plays, I mean, I know 38-24, and the offense deserves so much attention, and I think we've done that here throughout the show, but I don't want to lose sight of the interceptions by Grover Stewart and then Nick Cross. I mean, in coverage, kind of a one-handed play there in the end zone. With Quentin Johnston on him. I mean, those are huge, huge plays. If, for whatever reason, you don't make those interceptions, the Chargers, given their kicker situation, he's so good, they probably score. And I don't know, maybe the complexion of the game just feels a little different. Maybe the Colts have to strain a little bit into the second half than they did. You weren't stopping the Chargers yesterday very naturally, if you will, without those interceptions. Massive plays. And that's something the Colts have started to do. Create turnovers in the red zone. Geno Smith throws the pick a couple weeks ago. Grover got his big paw up there on the Latu interception. Obviously, you had the big turnover on downs to end the Arizona game. I mean, those sorts of plays, when you get into those confined spaces of the field, are just huge.
All right, you got some Monday morning headlines for the Colts, Mark Dykton, that people have sent in on social media for us over the weekend?
Extra, read all about it. I can't read it. There's no words on it.
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight.
Ripped from the headlines of the newspaper.
We'll do it live.
Post-game headlines.
Thing sucks.
All right. So, what do we have? As usual, post game, send out the tweet. Give me your 5 words or less post-game headlines of the Colts beating the Chargers, sitting atop the AFC. And these are some of the best ones we got. Billy Slick Willie said, Colts turn Chargers mellow yellow. Lots of play on words with the Chargers' bright yellow banana uniforms. Aaron weighed in, said, Colts beat the Savannah Bananas. Holly says, Colts charge ahead over Bolts. Aaron says, Taylor makes Chargers turn yellow. Any good ones you saw, Kevin, that you like?
I like the can Warren edge rush, too.
Yes.
From Jason. But as far as the Chargers' color, I mean, we would call that more mustardy, right, than banana-y if we're really going to get technical.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Savannah Bananas, though, and I don't remember. I maybe they've done it before. I've never seen the all-yellow Chargers
I think they did it back when, like,
was it
Amazon
Color Rush
Prime
game?
first did, like, the Thursday night games where there was, like, the Color Rush jerseys. I think that was one. It was
Charger
like,
Power is what they call it.
Yeah, it's sticking out to me that it was, like, a bright Chargers yellow and, like, a bright red Buffalo Bills all-red jerseys. I think they did that at some point.
Wow.
Finally proud IU football fan says Banana Bolts lose to Colts. I like that. I like the rhyming. That's also nice. And then other people were weighing in, say, get help, DB, and edge. Elite ball distributing, play calling, says Jason Ellis. And then Eric says, offense great, secondary needs upgrades, which I think a lot of Colts fans would agree with that one.
A lot of people want them to upgrade the defensive line, especially edge rusher. Kevin, what are the Colts in the market to give up in relation to what they'd want to get back at this point in time? Let's say it's a guy realistically like a Bradley Chubb out of Miami. Clearly the Dolphins aren't going anywhere.
So you have all of your picks besides the 6th-rounder. You traded your 6th-rounder back in August for Mekhi Blackman, who is actually playing a ton for you right now at corner. I like his competitiveness. I know it hasn't been perfect, but I like what he's shown. He's really been needed. So, to me, I kind of look in that third, fourth, fifth range. I think those are all readily available to you. First and second, I don't know. It's probably a hair too rich. And, when's the last time we've seen Chris Ballard trade 2 draft picks in a single year?
Never. Have we ever seen that? That I can remember?
My guess would be never. Yeah. But again, when's the last time Chris Ballard's had a 6-1 football team?
That looks great.
So I think those are some conversations you have to have. I am more team you need to upgrade the pass rush than corner.
Yeah.
I think both positions obviously matter. I just think edge rusher matters more. And we should point out, Samson Ebukam did get hurt yesterday, knee injury. Friendly fire with DeForest Buckner. Tyquan Lewis did leave with a groin injury. And so if those guys are out, you really don't have a whole lot. I mean, Kwity Paye and Latu are your starters. Then JT Tuimoloau, the rookie out of Ohio State, he would be your third guy. You've got no one else on the 53-man roster. You have one guy in the practice squad who hasn't played in the NFL. So, whereas corner, you can say, hey, Javarius Ward will be back in a few weeks. Hey, Jalen Jones, we hope, will be back at some point. I don't see that at defensive end, so I will continue to beat that drum. But, yeah, I mean, find the teams that are throwing in the towel or are going to throw in the towel. Jets, Dolphins, Titans, Saints, Raiders, Carl Grandersons of the world, Bradley Chubbs of the world, Jalen Phillips of the world, Kayvon Thibodeau of the world, Brian Burns, leads the league in sacks, so that would probably be a different story. But, those sorts of guys, are they available? And if so, what's the asking price?
I'm looking forward to it. There was one other headline I wanted to point out, Mark. This is a good one that somebody texted in. It wasn't really so much a headline, but Charles says the Colts went back to L.A. This time they didn't fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
That's well done, too.
Yeah.
Nice Beverly Hills Cop reference as well.
On the way to the airport.
I appreciate it.
Saturday afternoon on the way back to the airport, we were driving through that area, so we did Rodeo Drive so my son could see that for the first time. The 3 or 4 blocks of houses before you get to the commercial part of Rodeo Drive, insane.
Yeah, you're just like, how do I get that much money?
I don't know that it's even money that you need there. Those houses just they never come up on the market, ever.
How many banks do I need to rob?
Did you see the Louvre got robbed over the weekend?
No.
Broad daylight. Someone robbed the Louvre of the crown jewels of France. Broad daylight with a ladder. And they just powered in through a wall and took it and ran.
I see somebody finally bought Ursay's property in Carmel.
Oh, did they? I did not see that. I did see.
Jeff, did you make any purchases recently?
It was like an Arby's
I just spent
franchisee
I
don't know.
Spent all my points just to go to L.A. for a couple of days. So I don't know. But, yeah, I did not see that had changed hands. I did see that they're starting to show Carly at the end of football games. You see that yesterday? Spent a good 2-3 seconds on her.
Yeah, they've been showing her quite a bit, but
yeah,
they were praising her and saying they're getting it done the right way. The Colts are. So
that visor looked like she was like a poker.
I've never seen that.
Like a poker person there.
Yeah,
it was quite the visor look.
It was. She looked good in it though. I don't think I would, or Mark would, or you would, but she was looking good in it. So.
I'm not a visor person. I'm a hat person a little bit, but not. I can't pull off a visor, just like it can't pull off a tank top. I don't think.
All right, closing arguments and thoughts coming up in a moment on another Victory Monday. We'll get to some more of your texts as they've been flying in all morning long at 239-1070. It's the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen, Jeff Rickard, James Boyd is flying back from L.A., Mark Dykton getting it done on the other side. We'll continue in a moment. We spoke about it briefly during one of the checkdowns, but our goats of the week, actually, Kevin, Shohei Ohtani with the 10 strikeout, 3 home run game in a contest that decides that you get to go to the World Series. Just amazing. What do you think is going on with the baseballs that people have secured for those home runs, Kevin Bowen?
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah. Can only imagine. Mark Dyckman, thank you for the Natasha Bedingfield here on the 9 o'clock hour.
We're going all 90s shows.
Something for unwritten, to be specific here, but I think Dane Fife will approve of those.
Pocket full of sunshine works, though, too, with the way we're feeling with our football team.
Very good. Very good.
Anyway, I'd imagine if you got one of those home runs and get it verified from Shohei Ohtani, like, that's life-changing stuff if you hold on to that for 5 or 10 years, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, right, with how much memorabilia and all that goes for. So, what easily one of the greatest performances you'll ever see in a baseball game, period. And I don't think that's hyperbole at all.
There's a guy named David Flores that got one of them, and he says he's not yet heard from the Dodgers, but even if he does, he has no plans of giving that baseball back. He's looking at
a few
it
dollar
as a
signs your way.
This comma and that zero and that comma and that zero. Okay, maybe. It sounds good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a sales background for
He
David.
says he's going to sell the ball. That's what he's going to do. 26-year-old man from L.A. said he retrieved Ohtani's second home run ball, hit in the 4th inning from inside bushes. Said he was eating nachos in a food court behind the pavilion at the time Ohtani belted the homer. That's Carlo Mendoza. David Flores is the guy who said he's going to sell the baseball. But, yeah, life-changing stuff. If you talk about hitting the lottery, man, not only do you get to see that game in person, but then you get one of those balls.
Mm-hmm.
You kidding me? That's living right there.
Send one this way. I'd love to catch one just to sell it.
So many crazy things. I love sports for all these different kinds of things. I love sports for a 7-0 start for Indiana. I love sports for a 6-1 start for the Colts. Everything, knock on wood, everything's coming up roses right now.
Well, you love sports. Tonight's your night. Double Monday night doubleheader, and then you got Game 7 of the ALCS.
Before we finish up the Monday show, what's your biggest one takeaway from the Colts after the first 7 games of the year now?
I mean, it's got to be the play of Daniel Jones still. You know, we've seen Jonathan Taylor be elite in this league before. That's not the most shocking item in the world. We've seen the offensive line, be obviously one of the better units. I think a lot of people expected Tyler Warren. I mean, I certainly did expect him to have instant impact. Maybe he's been even a little better than expected, but to imagine Daniel Jones would look like this, no. I mean, that's easily the biggest 180 in a positive direction to a preseason thought. I think I picked 9 wins at the end of the year. I think I was a little bit higher than most of my colleagues, but still to act like they'd be 6-1 and this dominant, no. I mean, I probably had them at this point. Probably what would I have had them 4-2, maybe 4 probably 4-3 actually at this point. So, Daniel Jones easily if you had to pin me down for one thing.
All right, so I'm going to point out that while my A.D. Mitchell pick is dying on the vine slowly after every week, I was the guy that picked the most wins for the Colts this year.
Yeah, you had him at like 15.
No, I didn't have him at 15.
Well, 15, you might be right. 15, you might be one short.
15. I'd take 15, but I think I said 10 or 11 at the time.
They might be 16.
I was really, to be honest, I was thinking more 10, to be honest. But
would you like to adjust?
No, I'll take it. Right now, I'm leader in the clubhouse.
So far, so good.
I'll take the small wins whenever I can get them. But I guess my overall take is that Shane Steichen has what he's been looking for, Kevin. Whether it's Daniel Jones, but it's the whole thing. Like, here's a great play caller with weapons at his disposal and guys that he trusts implicitly all the way around, which is why A.D. Mitchell's only getting 3 or 5 plays a game right now because he just doesn't trust him. And despite all the incredible athletic ability, I get it. He doesn't trust him right now. You don't need to trust him when you got Michael Pittman and Tyler Warren and Jonathan Taylor and Abdullah doing what he's doing off the bench and everybody else. You don't need him. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, the offensive balance for me, it's just, you just don't know. They've had unbelievable success passing it, running it, whatever they want to do offensively, they're doing it. The red zone issues early in the year, those are long, long gone. And Shane Steichen, easily coach of the year.
James Wood will be back tomorrow. We got Jay Query with his thoughts coming up at noon. From
Rick
noon to
Carlisle,
3 today.
8 o'clock tomorrow.
Do that, and then JMV finishes up today 3 to 6. Rick Carlisle tomorrow morning at 8. Have a good one.